Offset this with an enthusiastic defense and last week's winning field goal, and the Pack is back. Landry, Lombardi, and the 1967 Ice Bowl. An unforgettable day, the last time these two teams met in Lambeau Field. And welcome to sold-out Lambeau Field for today's game between the Dallas Cowboys and the comeback cardiac Pack of Green Bay. The weather, in a word, is brisk. And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tim Brandt. The focal point is still the game between the Packers and the Cowboys, but the story surrounding the game is the escalating trade talks about Herschel Walker. The feeling is Herschel could be traded as early as this week when the NFL owners meet in Dallas. The beginning price for negotiations, $2 million. We talked to Herschel last night. Herschel says he's a businessman. He's approaching this as a businessman, and he has leverage in that he doesn't need football financially anymore. So we bring in Dan Jiggets. And Dan, how do you feel about this situation?
Well, kind of like what Herschel told us last night. He said, you know, football has opened up some doors for me, and now I can afford to buy those doors. But you have to wonder what the trade talk with him involved, and also with Steve Walsh, the starting quarterback today for the Cowboys, does to the psychology of this club. They've got to settle down and win their first National League football game before they can start talking about trading people.
Dallas Cowboy owner Jerry Jones will join us in the booth early on, and we'll address some of these issues. How about the Green Bay Packers? Are they exciting?
They are indeed the cardiac Pack. You know, Lindy Infante, the head coach, told us, I'd wish they would move the second half up to the first half, and the way to do that is for Don Majkowski, the quarterback, to start his completion ratio high in the first half, get Brent Fullwood involved in the running game. And I know that Tim Harris has got those Cowboys concerned. Last week, the outside linebacker had 4 sacks. Expect to see him busy today.
All right, Dan, well, we told you that Dallas is off to the worst start since 1963. They did win the toss, and they will receive. James Dixon, Darryl Clack, and Derek Shepard are back there deep. And this is up the right side, big hole. It's Dixon. Dixon's gone. What a way to start this game. Inside the 10 to the 5-yard line. James Dixon of the Dallas Cowboys, and I barely had my headset on, and he was gone. He was caught from behind by Jeff Query, a wide receiver who runs a 4.3 40, but watch this, and watch number 86, James Dixon.
Well, watch him. The key thing here, number one, he makes a nice reception, and I watch him hit it up the field. That's where you want to go, north-south, and now when you break out past that Pack, you head to that sideline, because that's the toughest place for anybody to catch, in particular a kicker. But Query runs him down. Query runs about a 4.3 40, so that's respectable.
89-yard return, and as Jerry Jones walks into our booth, a big smile, grinning from ear to ear after that. First down and goal at the 5 for the Dallas Cowboys. Steve Walsh, his first NFL start, his value is on the line today.
You know, you mentioned that you had barely got your headset on when that happened. I didn't have mine on.
Take a look at the offensive lineup then for the Dallas Cowboys, and we'll set the starters for you. Up front, it's 2-8, Newton, White, Kerr, Kevin Gogan, and the tight end is Steve Folsom. And Jimmy Johnson has not been happy with the production of the tight ends. In the backfield, Herschel Walker will keep a close eye on him today. Daryl Johnston gets his first NFL start. Martin and Irvin are the wideouts. Darryl Clack and James Dixon come in on passing situations and third down situations. Ron Pitts now comes into the ball game, replaces Van Jakes for the Green Bay Packers in the secondary. Kelvin Martin goes to the top of the screen. Irvin at the bottom. Power formation for Dallas on first and goal at the 5. Walsh, right side, not much there for Daryl Johnston. Johnston is a power runner. He's a strong blocker. Second-round draft pick out of Syracuse. That Green Bay defensive front, Robert Brown, Bob Nelson, and Sean Patterson. The linebackers are very, very active. Anderson, Noble, Holland, and Tim Harris. Many feel will make the Pro Bowl this year. He had 4 sacks last week. Pitts, Brown, Stills, and Murphy. Jakes and Green are the nickel and dime backs. Second down and goal at the 5. Walsh's first pass. Looks left, throws, and overthrows Michael Irvin.
Not a bad selection on the pass, though, because he knew Michael Irvin was covered by Tim Harris, so he just put it up there. If Michael doesn't get the football, no one does. You see Steve Walsh knows how to throw the football when he gets down near the end zone. Now watch right by the goal post. That's where Steve's going to see his receiver Irvin coming across. Now see, he's covered very nicely by Tim Harris, number 97, and that's a smart thing to do. Get rid of the football if you can't complete it in the end zone.
Tiger Green and Van Jakes come in for Green Bay on defense as you look at Walsh. 6 defensive backs now. That's what he's seeing on 3rd down and goal. Motion. Walsh to throw. Has some room now. Drifts left. Throws. Touchdown Cowboys. Michael Irvin. And just like that, Dallas is on the board. So James Dixon with a 89-yard return, and then the touchdown pass. Walsh to Michael Irvin.
The nice thing that Michael Irvin did there was he worked the end zone a little bit. Now watch when he sees his quarterback Steve Walsh in trouble, because Steve's going to pull out of the pocket here and just move a little bit to his left. Now when the receiver sees his quarterback is in a little bit of trouble here, you want to slide along in that end zone, give him an opportunity to squeeze the ball in there, and that's what Michael Irvin does, and he makes the touchdown catch. I knew he wasn't going to be shut out this week. He was shut out last week, but no way he's going to let that happen 2 weeks in a row.
He was having fun with us last night. He was loose. Ruzick, a bad snap. Saxon couldn't hold it, and Ruzik's kick is knocked down by the Green Bay Packers. So the extra point is no good, but Dallas starts out quickly, and it's 6-0 Cowboys.
Comes right in the middle of your screen. Now watch, because the ball is snapped low, as a result it's going to get blocked. The key there is the ball came up a little bit high, excuse me, and the holder just could not handle it. Ruzak's kick is blocked.
6-0 Dallas. Welcome back to Lambeau Field. I'm Tim Brand, along with Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, and Dan Jiggets. Jerry, I'm going to ask you right up front about the Herschel Walker situation. Where does it stand, and will he be traded as early as this week when the meetings convene?
I can't speculate on that. We've had some teams visit with us about Herschel. There has been no deal. When you don't have a deal, you can't turn a deal down. And so we'll address that heads on. The thing we're doing, though, Tim, is we're trying to rebuild a team in Dallas. And we know that we're going to look at all options every chance we get.
Full return out to the 29-yard line. Jerry, Will McDonough in the NFL Today show mentioned that it would be like an auction when the owners come in today. And he said that it was reported also that the negotiation would start at $2 million. Obviously, I would look at this thing and I see Jimmy Johnson's contract is for 10 years. You obviously are in a rebuilding program. You need players, and a deal like that would be a blockbuster. Will it be like an auction?
Well, first of all, we've got to assume that there's going to be that type of forum. I really think the owners are coming to Dallas to discuss the new commissioner, not Herschel Walker or the Dallas Cowboys. On the other hand, if some of the owners want to talk to us, one of our players, we will talk to them.
Jerry, it seems to me the most important thing in a deal such as this one is to get some players that are going to play for you right now instead of draft choices. Is that kind of the thinking in your front office?
I think that certainly an optimum thing would be to have some people that could contribute if we're going to consider a deal on a player of that magnitude immediately. On the other hand, we're doing everything we can looking for the future. We know that we're in for the long haul, and those things we're going to consider need to pay off for us 3 and 4 years from now as well.
Jerry, very quickly, what do you suspect will happen as far as commissioner this week?
I think that we're going to get to interview and talk to potential candidates, and in doing so, a lot of owners will be enlightened, and we can look ahead to the future, and we may have a vote, and we could get a commissioner. I give it about a 50-50 chance.
Another carry by Fullwood for the Green Bay Packers. When we talked in preseason,
you care to say who might be the new commissioner?
When we talked in the preseason, you felt like a commissioner may not be named until the end of the year. But as we head directly into the 1990s, do you think it will be Finks, Mr. Finks?
I think that certainly Jim Finks is the favorite. He enjoys a lot of support. That the process has unfolded so that we're going to get to see some other people as well. Let's wait and see what happens this week.
All right, Jerry. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it. 6-0. Team's up. Again, this is Fullwood, bangs his way through the middle, up near midfield to the 49, and we get back to football. But a major story developing with the Herschel Walker situation, and all indications are that he will be traded possibly as early as this week if the deal can be made in Dallas. It'll be 2nd down and 4, the ball on the 49. We set that offensive front for you now for the Green Bay Packers. Rutgers Rich Moran, Bush, Hallstrom, Vinograd. Ed West is the tight end. Woodside is the big running back. Brent Fullwood, who has really been getting a workout in this first series. Kemp and Sharp, the wideouts. Bland and Jeff Query, who is a speedster, come in on passing situations. 2nd down and 4 for Mikowski. Again, it's Fullwood to the right side. Albritton takes him down, but now they're in Dallas territory as the Pack continues to move the ball rather effectively. Dallas defensive line, Ed Too Tall Jones, Willie Broughton, Dean Hamill, acquired from the Washington Redskins, and Jim Jeffcoat. The linebackers, Del Rio starts today. Lockhart and Randy Shannon, a rookie. And in the secondary, there have been some problems on this defense now, specifically speed. Jimmy Jones is concerned with the lack of speed. Walls, Francis, Horton, Albritton, Bates, and Hendricks are the nickel and dime backs. And it's a 1st down for the Green Bay Packers. So what a way to start here today. We have a long 89-yard return by James Dixon of the Cowboys. Then Walsh hits Michael Irvin with the touchdown pass. 6-0 Dallas. Roger Rusic's kick was blocked. And now the Packers come back, and they've got a rather methodical drive going. But then Jerry Jones joined us in the booth. We talked about the Herschel Walker situation, and Will McDonough in the NFL Today was right. It will be like an auction. He did not deny that as the NFL meetings convene in Dallas this week. Packers have driven 25 yards, all by Brent Fullwood to this point. This is Mikowski. He's got pressure. Tries to throw his ball away. Actually, it looked like he was throwing it away. There was a receiver in the area, and it was Keith Woodside.
And Ron Francis was on him pretty good downfield. Now, what the Cowboys told us yesterday is that, as you mentioned earlier, Tim, with team speed being the way that it is defensively for them, they're going to have to send some people on blitzes and such. And that it was a situation where you saw Shannon rushing the quarterback Mikowski from the outside. Jimmy Johnson-Sola said that's the thing that they're going to have to do to get some pressure on the quarterback. By the same token, you know that Don Mikowski's been around long enough to know how to take advantage of those kinds of blitzes.
Testaverde to Carrier. You saw that score. It'll be 2nd down and 10 here at Lambeau Field. The ball at the 46 for the Packers. It's 6-0 Dallas as now we settle in. The ball around. It's Perry Kemp. Perry Kemp gets a block on the corner and carries it down to the 37-yard line. Knocked out by Jeffcoat and Vince Albritton.
Well, I tell you what, Ron Hallstrom, number 65 for the Packers, got a real nice block here. Now watch him as he pulls out here. He's going to get 2 blocks on that corner, and watch how that helps the running back come around the corner and finally turn it up. Now watch Hallstrom, 65, just went out of frame, will come back into frame right there. 1 block there, and another one that pushes that second guy off into the pursuer, and as a result, they get good yardage on the play.
It'll bring up 3rd down and 2. The ball at the 38, Dan. Good look at Kemp, second-year player out of Cal Union, Pennsylvania. 4 wide receivers now for the Pack. Mikowski with time to Kemp. 1st down pack to the 30-yard line. Kemp is run out of bounds by Horton.
Perry Kemp had a good week last week against the Atlanta Falcons, and he's just picking up where he left off. Mikowski with a nice little short drop, 3 steps, finds the receiver. Now the key there is the Dallas defensive backs are playing off so far. You see how long it took Everson Walls to finally get to Perry Kemp. Everson's given him at least a 10-yard cushion.
Walls and Horton. Eric Brown not playing today. He's got a hamstring problem. So the secondary is a little bit thinner. They brought in Tim Jackson out of Nebraska. Cowboys continue to bring in free agents during the week. They look at him every Tuesday. This is Mikowski. Fullwood get it outside. He's got the corner. Horton knocks him out of bounds on the 17. But a big gain by Fullwood. A gain of 13 and another Packer 1st down.
Okay, here we go. Now watch in here. This is where the block's going to come from Keith Woodside. That's the key to the play. Woodside blocks his man. It's actually on the backside. That allows Brent Fullwood to break it back. See, watch that block there, 94. That's the key block on the play. Now Fullwood can head outside and get up, turn the corner, and take it upfield.
The Packers have been outscored 91-27 in the 1st half, but came back to outscore opponents 90-23 in the 2nd half. They're trying to get things going here early. 1st down at the 16. Mikowski. Intended for his tight end West. Incomplete. The coverage was by Jack Del Rio, 55.
Good coverage by Jack Del Rio. He was right there on the tight end.
Look at Jimmy Johnson. still looking for his first NFL win. Although he told us he doesn't feel the pressure with that 10-year contract. Says he's in a 10-year plan.
I think that the key, though, is that, you know, you'd like to get these young people believing in your system. Certainly Lindy Infante's been able to do that with the Packers over the last year or two. And I'm sure Jimmy's looking at what the success formula that Lindy's used and says, hey, maybe I can pull something from that. Infante
brought in 20 Plan B free agents, spent $800,000 to $900,000 in signing bonuses. 7 of them stuck, but they have helped the team. This is Fullwood on the pitch. Gain of 2, knocked out of bounds that time rather rudely by Ray Horton.
I don't know if I was Brent that time going around the corner. I think I might have thrown it back to Don Mikowski. Fullwood has really come a long way this year. You know, to see him run the football, and then we looked at the Atlanta game, you know, he's really running the ball hard. And everybody you talk to in the team says, you know, the guy's really settling down. He's learned the offense. He told me the other day, you know, I don't learn things as fast as a lot of other people, but when I learn them, I lock them in, and then I can really use it a great deal. And I think you'll see today the kind of running ability that have in their hands.
Brett Fullwood now 6 carries for 40 yards. On 3rd down and 8, the Packers go to 4 wide receivers. And the Cowboys load up for 60 yards. Pressure. It's complete to Jeff Query. Touchdown, Green Bay. 14-yard pass. Ray Horton on the coverage, but it was Query who came across the middle for the touchdown. So Horton applied the pressure on Mikowski, but he just sat there calmly and hit Query with the touchdown. They're going to take a look at this, make sure he got into the end zone, but that's the first NFL touchdown for Jeff Query. And Query is a flyer.
Remember last week Jeff Query had a problem getting in the end zone. He dropped the ball just as he was going in, and Sterling Sharp picked it up, took it in for him.
Query now 9 catches. He has a 23-yard per catch average, though. He's a big-time player.
Well, he got a pick there by Sterling Sharp, and he comes loose underneath, and he beats Ron Francis on the play. Now, the key question here is, did he get into the end zone before he was down? I do not. Well, see, the knee was never down. What happened is he rolled over on the defender, and as a result, the defender almost threw him in. Francis almost threw him into the end zone. So that's what the officials are looking at. That's what the replay officials are looking at.
Replay official Mark Burns. Ed McGuire is up there with him, along with Joe Gardy from the NFL.
We may be able to get a better shot of it here. Now, the thing we want to watch for is, do Jeff Query's knees hit the ground before he rolls into the end zone? There's a knee.
Yes, he's down.
Yeah, he's down. He's down before he gets in the end zone.
So they may take away his first NFL touchdown.
That's right. Once again. Here we go. Now, let's see if his knees hit down. That's the thing you want to watch for before he rolls into the end zone. Francis on the tackle. There's the knee. Boom. He's down. Now he rolls into the end zone and breaks the plane.
So Query's made 2 big plays then. He tracked down Dixon on the opening kickoff and saved a touchdown there, at least momentarily, because Walsh did come back and hit Irvin for the touchdown. But then he makes this play here, and it's either a touchdown or awfully close to it. Jeff Query, 5'11 and a half, 165-pounder, 5th-round draft pick.
And he runs a 4.3. He can fly, but the thing is he couldn't fly fast enough just to get in that end zone. There's a knee down. There's the other knee down. That's the one angle that we've got. And then you see his head breaking the plane, and finally the football. Here's a close-up shot of it. You can clearly see the knees go down, and now Jeff Query goes into the end zone.
Sold-out stadium at Lambeau Field. More than 57,000 fans are here, and they're starting to boo now because of the holdup, while the replay officials try to determine whether it's a touchdown or not.
If they're booing because of the holdup, just imagine when the officials make the call.
That's exactly right. Here it is.
After further review, the runner was rolled down on the 1-yard line. First down, Green Bay, 1-yard line.
So Jerry Markbright, the referee, tells us that he's ruled down on the 1-yard line. They'll mark it there, and the offense will come back on the field for the Green Bay Packers. It'll be first down and goal at the 1. And Jeff Query's first NFL touchdown is taken back.
Well, it's the 2nd week in a row he's gotten ripped off. Just needs one more step. The same thing happened to him last week where he got the ball stripped away from him.
From Milliken, Illinois, Michael Haddix comes into the ball game along with Brent Fullwood. They're the I-backs. 2 tight ends, power formation. Brentwood's not going to get there. Brent Fullwood is knocked down at the 1. He may have lost a yard.
Boy, I tell you, the one thing happened there, Tolbert, number 62, was not blocked at all. Now watch forward. You're going to see him get to the line of scrimmage, and that's where he's going to be met by Tolbert. No one really blocked him. You see him step in there, and boom, he just knocks forward back into the backfield. And he gets a little help later from Dean Hamill.
So it's a loss of 1. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 2.
2nd and 2.
Brent Fullwood would be the I back. Michael Haddock's the up back. Again, it's a power formation. Didier in motion. Play action. Didier can't hold on to the football. Right through his hands. Clint Didier, 6 years in Washington, made a catch in the Super Bowl, but he misses this one.
Don Mikowski has this play set up for him all the way. Now he's going to take a little bit of a roll here. He knows he's got Clint Didier going to the corner. Didier's got to reach out and grab this football. This thing is right on his hands. If you have to tumble to catch the football, you tumble to catch it. But watch him here as he slides out. He's in motion there now. He just slips out behind the defenders. Now, he's all out there by himself. He's got to catch that football. No excuse for dropping that one.
So it'll bring up 3rd down and goal for the Packers. Again, there's play action. Mikowski drops the ball. All the way back to the 9-yard line, and he was wide open on the corner.
You know, you never take too much for granted when you get down here in the goal line because everything can go wrong. Now here, Don Mikowski is really set up very nicely for the little rollout here on a bootleg. Now he just simply drops the football, and he knows he's in trouble now. He just tries to recover the ball so they can kick the field goal. You can't take things for granted down here. You have to go with what's going to get you there, push it into the end zone.
So the rookie, Chris Jackie, comes on for a 26-yard field goal attempt. He's 15 for 15 on extra points, 4 for 4 on field goals, and this one's good as well, so make it 5 for 5. He's perfect as a pro, the rookie out of UTEP, and the Packers are on the board. It's 6-3 Dallas.
Please call 715. Jackie will do the
63 yards, 15 plays. It ate up 4 minutes and 56 seconds of the clock, and Chris Jackie gets a field goal, so it's 6-3 Dallas. And now the Pack will kick off to the Cowboys. So Jackie will kick off, and James Dixon is deep along with Darryl Clack. Dixon ran the opening kick back 89 yards, setting up a 5-yard touchdown pass for Walsh to Irving for the Cowboys. Jackie's kick will be taken by Clack a yard deep. And Clack loses the football. Packers get it back. Jeff Query again, and what a game he's having.
Watch Clack, number 42. He's going to try to go right up the middle on this play as he's going to try to turn it upfield here, and that's where the ball gets popped out right there by number 56, Burnell Dent. It's kicked later on by another Packer, kicked downfield, and now it's recovered by Query. Here's another look at it. Now watch, this ball's going to get kicked after Clack drops it here on the ground. You see the ball come out right there, get squirted out. Now it got kicked right there, and that's by number 83. I believe that's Perry Kemp.
So Jeff Query has saved the touchdown by catching Dixon on the opening kickoff, made a catch down to the 1 that set up the field goal, and now recovers the fumble. First down at the 13 for the Pack.
The kick was by Carl Bland.
Fullwood taken down by Jim Jeffcoat. Gain of 1. Turnovers have hurt Dallas all year. The Cowboys are -4 in the giveaway takeaway ratio, and that fumble really hurt.
We talked before about what the Packers have to do to get this thing moving in the first half for themselves. They've had 2 opportunities now. This is the second one to push the ball into the end zone and get on the board. Now they're going to have to do it because, again, they're behind in the first half.
Second down, call it 8. Again, there's play action. Mikowski has room, tucks it away this time, and slides down at the 6. Well, Lindy Infante was telling us he didn't know what to do to get him started in the first half. He said before the Rams game, he ran through the locker room saying, all right, we're down 24-0. The game hadn't started, but we're down 24-0. Let's go get them. He said it didn't work. They still fell behind.
Well, I think the mindset has got to be that you want to start attacking from the opening kickoff, offensively and defensively. And what that means is now when you get down here in this territory and you're the Packers, you want to put the ball in the end zone. And the way you do that is aggressively. I think you have to run the football. You run it over the defense. You show them that you're in command of the line of scrimmage.
It'll be 3rd down and a long 2, almost 3 for the Packers. This is the #1 offense in the NFL. Mikowski with time. Has it complete. Fontenot bangs his way down. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Fontenot, number 27, knows he's got man coverage down. You see everybody right up on the line of scrimmage. He slips out. Where is the linebacker? All of a sudden, he finds himself out in the open. Now, you see Shannon trying to chase him down and drag him back, but Shannon made the mistake there. When you know you're down in that end zone, you got to get on your guy, seal him up, and not allow him to get to the end zone.
Boy, Herman Fontenot really laid a lick on Everson Walls at the goal line as you look at magic. Don Mikowski. And they're taking another look at it.
After further review of the play stand, touchdown.
Jerry Markbright is the referee. The umpire, Ed Kukart. Head linesman, Ron Fairs. Line judge, Ray Dodas.
Rocket will hold, and Jackie will do the kick.
Chris Jackie on for the extra point attempt. And it's good. And with 7:19 remaining in the first quarter, the Green Bay Packers have jumped on top of Dallas 10-6.
Randy Shannon has got responsibility for the running back. That's Herman Fontenot. He's going to slide out here. You're going to see Shannon go out to the side as well, but he's going to get beat on the play. He's going to get a little help from Everson Walls, but not enough to prevent Herman Fontenot from getting in the end zone. Nice pass by Mikowski on time out in front, leads the receiver very nicely. Nice extra effort here by Herman Fontenot. Watch that leg drive take him right into the end zone. See how he pokes that football in there to make sure he gets the score.
Boy, you love to see a running back put his head down like that and pull his way in.
Unless you're a defender.
Chris Jackie will kick off for the Packers. And deep for Dallas is James Dixon and Derek Shepard, who was acquired this week off waivers from New Orleans. This is Dixon. Dixon has another big hole out across the 40 to the 44-yard line. Stopped by Chris Jackie, the kicker. A return of 37 yards. So Dixon, after a return of the opening kick, 89 yards, returns this one 37.
Once again, that Packer touchdown from ground level. You're going to see Herman Fontenot coming right into your living room. There he is, number 27, turning around. Nice lead there, as I said before, by Mikowski, and nice second effort. Look at that leg drive.
First down, Cowboys at the 45. 7:09 remaining first quarter. It's 10-6 Green Bay. Walsh tries to set up the screen to Walker. Walker is hit hard at the 46-yard line. There is a flag, but Ken Stills takes Herschel Walker down there, and we'll wait to see what the flag is.
Normally that's holding because you have to wait so long to set up the screens. Excuse me, is offensive lineman downfield.
But it's against Dallas. Tim Harris was applying the pressure on Walsh. Double screen. He had Johnston to one side.
Tampa Bay is out in front of Chicago, 14-zip.
Ineligible receivers downfield on the kick. Numbers 68 and 61. Offense. Still first down.
Crawford, Kerr, and Nate Newton.
Why that happens is you're waiting a lot of times for your running back to give you the go signal so you can pull out and go downfield on a screen, because usually you're going to pull your guard and your center out to lead on the screen. And what they will do is wait for the running back to give them that go signal, and sometimes you drift a little bit upfield.
First down and 20 for the Dallas Cowboys. Walsh again to throw. Looks for the double screen. This time goes to Johnston. Johnston caught from behind at the 41-yard line, so he'll be 2 yards shy of the original line of scrimmage. John Anderson tripped him up. Anderson, the defensive captain, 12-year veteran out of Michigan.
And you know, Lawrence Taylor, the Giants, last week talked about how basic the Cowboys offense was. That was not a basic play. That was a nice double screen. Faked it over to Herschel Walker and went back over the other side to Johnson. It was set up very nicely and very well conceived.
It'll be second down and 13. Walker gets maybe one, but he's still not back to the original line of scrimmage. And again, Sean Patterson makes the tackle.
The big guys.
And there's another flag, Dan. And it's against Dallas.
The whole key, though, is the offensive line for Dallas, the big guys up front, have to do some one-on-one blocking. You got to move some people off the line of scrimmage if you want your running game to be successful. No other way to do it.
Holding number 68, offense.
Crawford Kerr. Second time for Kerr. And look at this.
Dallas right at the top in terms of penalties, leading the league. And right behind them is Phoenix, Minnesota, and Washington. And all those teams are having their problems. And a lot of people didn't expect Minnesota to have theirs, but they certainly are. You see Green Bay's number 13.
I'll tell you something else. Jimmy Johnson was talking to us yesterday and hired officials to come to practice to try to alleviate the problem.
Yeah, but he told us they're college officials, the retired college officials, and they're scared to call signals on these guys, or call flags on them.
Second down and 22 now for Dallas. Walsh has some pressure, and he's sacked. Bob Nelson. His first sack of the season.
Watch Nelson right in the middle of your screen. He's guy's going to drive right in there and get some good pressure, and automatically that means Walsh is going to start backing out of it. You see, he's really one-on-one right now with Nate Newton. Slips off, gets a nice little peel off there off of Tim Harris, number 97, and they really get there together. I guess you're going to have to give them a half a sack apiece. Bob Nelson came out of the USFL, played with the Arizona Wranglers.
Harris would love to have half of that sack. He's got 5.5 already for the year. A loss of 9. It's third down and 32. You put Harris in the Pro Bowl. You were talking to him and said, hey.
I'll tell you what, he should have been there. There's no question about it last year.
Here's the screen, this time set up nicely. Sargent now with a big block outside the 40 to the 44-yard line. Roderick Sargent with a big gain, but the Cowboys will still have to punt, taken down by Bucky Dent.
Well, I tell you what, Bob White had a nice block there on Mark Murphy. That really set the screen up.
A gain of 21, and Mike Saxon will come on to punt it away for the Cowboys.
Saxon will do the punting.
The numbers on Saxon, second in the NFL. Vernell Dent said he got that nickname Bucky from the baseball player. Saxon there waiting for the snap. High punt. Jeff Query will let this one hit at the 12. It'll roll down to the 11-yard line. Query lost it in the sun. A 44-yard punt, no return, and Query never even saw it. It's 10-6 Green Bay. Tim Brandt and Dan Jacobs with you back at Lambeau Field. Interesting story here in Green Bay this week. This file was found behind the desk of defensive coordinator Hank Bullough. It's a file that was owned by the late, great Vince Lombardi. And in that file, there are rosters, there are salaries listed. Take a look at this now, and you'll see the roster with Paul Hornung and Babe Parilli, Bart Starr.
Jim Stanley, you know, look, some great names on there, but look at those salaries. I tell you what, that kind of looks like the Chicago Bears of the 70s when I came in with the Bears.
The high salary, $15,000. Now, you have to assume those high salaries of 15 and 12 were guys like Jim Taylor, Bart Starr, Paul Hornung.
That's right. That'd buy you a game for some of these players out here today.
31 years ago, but this file is certainly interesting, and the handwriting of Vince Lombardi is definitely his, and it's been there a long, long time. I would check the cleaning folks, find out why this file's been back there for so long.
Well, you know that file, I'm sure, will probably be sent on to the Hall of Fame. So something's quite interesting.
Hank Bullough doesn't want to give it up. Woodside with the carry. Gain of 7. Ray Horton made the tackle. It'll be second down and call it 3. As you look at some of the other scores around the NFL. Here in Green Bay, there's 3:35 remaining first period. And it's 10-6 Packers.
Detroit over Minnesota 7-zip. A couple of upsets heading up in the Central Division.
Fullwood left side finds the going tough, bangs ahead, maybe one. Willie Broughton led the defensive front there, but he was a whole host of Dallas Cowboys in on that tackle.
Well, the nice thing that the Cowboys are doing is they're sliding that defensive line today. They're having some success doing that. What they do is they set the linemen out wide, the defensive ends out wide, the linebackers, outside linebackers inside. It's a 4-3 inside defense. What they want those defensive ends to do is come upfield and contain the run.
The loud roar you hear from the fans here for Tony Mandrich, who just came into the ball game. #1 draft pick out of Michigan State. 6'5", 315-pounder, #1 pick. James Campion in the ball game as an eligible receiver. This is Fullwood. Pushes off the left side, has it up for the first down.
And on Tony's first block against Ed Too Tall Jones, he cuts him off to the inside. Watch him there right in the middle of your screen, number 77 and 72. And both he and Ed end up falling down on the ground. So I guess you could say each one of them knocked the other guy down.
Green Bay's 7th first down. Dallas has only 1. If you're just joining us, it got off to a quick start. James Dixon returned the opening kickoff 89 yards to set up the Cowboys' first touchdown, a 5-yard toss from Walsh to Irvin. And then the Packers have come back quickly. They scored 10 points at 10-6. Mikowski on play action. Goes to Fullwood to the 35 to 37-yard line. It'll be close to another first down. It is. Knocked out by Eugene Lockhart and Everson Walls. A gain of 14 for the Pack.
You saw Lockhart coming out from the middle of the field. Watch Lockhart right here. He's going to be pursuing the play over here. Fullwood's going to take off and go out as well. But Lockhart knows he's got to take him all the way to that sideline. Good blocking up front there. You see that corner sealed up there by Alan Weingart. Now finally Too Tall gets loose, but the ball's already gone to Brent Fullwood. Everson Walls comes up and tries to make the stop, and along with Lockhart.
Don Mikowski, 6'2", 197 pounds. He says he's never played against anybody as tall as Too Tall Jones. Too Tall is listed at 6'9". You think he's 6'7". And again, there are flags.
Don't tell him I said that.
False start, number 65, offense. First down.
That's Ron Holstrom.
You're going to see Holstrom, number 65, just jump just a little bit right there. That's all that defense needs. They tee off when you're in. Well, you have to snap up your chin strap because you know they're going to rip you as soon as you jump before that ball snap.
There's the first down situation. It'll be first down and 15. The ball at the 33 for Green Bay. Woodside goes way out to the top of the screen. Double receivers on that side. Instead, they give the ball ahead to Michael Haddix. And Haddix carries it across the 37 to the 38-yard line. Willie Broughton makes the tackle there.
I'll tell you, the one thing that the Dallas defensive line is doing is they're playing that line of scrimmage very nicely for the Cowboys. Now, one thing you're going to watch for here is Green Bay's had some success going downfield. When the Cowboys in that soft zone, you know they're going to throw downfield. They've got some fast receivers. Look for Mikowski to try to get out, get a little bit of room around the corner, and then go downfield.
Jimmy Johnson was very matter-of-fact talking about the lack of speed on his defense, trying to use more linebackers on the outside to get some speed. It's second down and 10 for Mikowski. Steps up in the pocket, drills it, has it complete. And Sharp is knocked out of bounds at the 49-yard line, mark at the 50 by Ron Francis. A gain of 12.
Sterling Sharp told us yesterday he feels that the crossing patterns and the outs are going to be open for him all day. There he is right at the bottom of your screen, number 84. A little shake there on Ron Francis. Has Francis running with him right out of the break. He sees the first down marker and says, I got to get there in order to set this thing up, and that's what he does.
All right, Magic, put it on for us. Don Mikowski. He does not lack in confidence.
And ability, along with this guy, Sterling Sharp.
Agile, good feet. You like his high jumping ability.
Yeah, he high jumped 6'11" in prep school. I don't know how much good that'll do you at quarterback.
It might over Too Tall. Michael Haddix down to the 44-yard line. Haddix, a former #1 pick of the Eagles. He was the first Plan B player taken of the 20 that the Packers brought in.
Now watch this little fake bootleg that you're going to see Don Mikowski carry out here. Now watch, he's going to hand the ball off there to Woodside. You see him, he's carrying out his bootleg now. Woodside makes a nice little run up into the line of scrimmage. The key there, though, is when your quarterback carries out those bootleg fakes, sooner or later he's going to carry out a bootleg, keep that ball out there and roll around, and the defense is not going to be looking for it, then he throws downfield.
They ran that bootleg. Mikowski had the open, looked like he was going to score a touchdown, and just dropped it. Second down and 5 at the 44. Close to another first down at the 40. Tackle made by Dean Hamill.
Blair Bush is one of those plan B guys playing center for the Packers here, number 51 right in the middle of your screen, and watch him working against Willie Broughton and Rich Moran in there one-on-one finally, and he just pushes Broughton out of the way.
And a big round of applause for the Green Bay Packers as the first quarter comes to a close at Lambeau Field. So that's the end of the first quarter with the Packers leading the Cowboys 10-6.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by the new generation of Oldsmobile. Step into the future now at your Oldsmobile dealer. Dean Witter. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time. And by Miller Lite, official sponsor of the NFL Player of the Year Award. Miller Lite brings you the NFL's best.
The city of Green Bay, Wisconsin on this second week of fall. Autumnal hues of gold and amber.
And the paper mills are hard at work.
Meat packers are off today. They came to watch the Packers. Third down and 1 at the 44 for Green Bay. It's 10-6 Pack as we begin the second 15 minutes of this ball game. Fullwood's not going to get there. Great pursuit by the defensive front led by Randy Shannon of the Cowboys.
Key there, though, Willie Broughton, 79, really just came across, penetrated very nicely off the defensive line, just disrupted the whole offense, and that gave Shannon an opportunity to make the stop in the backfield. But credit that one to Willie Broughton, an extraordinary effort.
Don Bracken comes on now to punt the ball away. Derek Shepard is deep for the Cowboys. Bracken's punt is a wobbler. This ball will hit inside the 10 and roll down to the 2-yard line, and it's down there by Carl Bland. A 39-yard punt, no return. Right now, let's go to New York. Here's Brent Musburger. Brent.
All right, Tim. Giants leading the Eagles by a field goal. Set up to try another one, but it's a fake. And Jeff Hostetler throws back to Carl Banks for an easy touchdown. 10-zip. Giants over the Eagles. Let's go back now to Tim.
All right, Brent. Carl Banks with a touchdown.
But I saw also that Tampa Bay Buccaneers have beaten the Bears 21-zip now. What has happened to the Bears down in Tampa Bay? They take an early vacation?
Testaverde got him off quickly with a touchdown to Carrier.
Look at that time of possession for Green Bay, 10 minutes already. Dallas only 4.5.
Cowboys backed up, first down and 10 at the 2. Walker back to the line of scrimmage. There's a flag. Tackle was made by John Anderson, and the rest of the left side of that Packer defensive front.
If you're going to run the football down here out of your own end zone, the chances are...
Offside, number 79, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. First down.
That's the nose tackle, Bob Nelson.
Chances are you want to run that ball in right by that nose tackle, Bob Nelson. I would keep it in tight to the center and not take any chances trying to run the football wide, because that's where your guy can get stopped in the backfield. There's that Tampa Bay Chicago score.
And you just heard the roar from the crowd when they announced it.
They're very appreciative up here in Wisconsin of that.
If you're just joining us, Steve Walsh hit Michael Irvin for the Cowboys right away. 5-yard touchdown. It was 6-0 Dallas. Chris Jackie with a 26-yard field goal for Green Bay. And Mikowski to Fontenot's 6-yard touchdown pass. It's 10-6. That's the second penalty of the game for Green Bay. It's 1st and 5 at the 7. Herschel out to the 10-yard line. Wrapped up by Noble and Holland.
One of the things we're going to track today, Tim, is how many times Herschel Walker touches the football. Now, in a situation where there's been a lot of trade talk about a player of the stature of Herschel, quite naturally, a team is going to try to showcase him a little bit. And certainly that was the case last week, where he touched the ball probably about 25, 30 times. And we're going to track him today to see how many times he touches it and how come that running game is not successful with him in there. Maybe it's the guys up front that have to tee off and open up some holes for him so he can get past the line of scrimmage, and that's where he's really dangerous.
Herschel's 5-year, $5 million contract goes to the end of next season. It's 2nd down and 2, the ball in the 10. This is Walker. Breaks 2 tackles out to the 12-yard line. He'll be close to the first down. Brian Noble took him down there, depending on the mark.
Cowboys tried to run the counter the counter tray on that play. Now watch these two backside linemen. That's why they call it the counter tray. These guys are going to head back over this way on a little counter action and throw the blocks for Herschel Walker at the point of attack. The problem that Herschel's going to have is at the point of attack, there's some legs in the way, so he just bounces it right outside. Right there, you saw him bounce it back outside. Saw Tim Harris sliding off of a block inside and just worked the corner. And worked it fairly successfully for the Cowboys.
Cowboy first down, the ball on the 13. Walsh rearranges the formation. Irving now goes to the left side. Walsh to throw, incomplete. It was intended for Broderick Sargent. Sargent was only about 5 yards downfield. Walsh drilled it.
And you saw who else was out there was Bob Nelson, the nose tackle, number 79. What's he doing out there on the sideline on a pass? He just played it right down the line of scrimmage and went on out there with Broderick Sargent. But you're right, Walsh really unloaded that one on the sideline. He wasn't really set up for it. He was trying to throw on the run.
Troy Aikman fractured his finger on his left hand last week. He is watching now, all bundled up, and it is brisk.
Yeah, he asked me earlier, he said, you think I should wrap this thing up with a towel or something like that? I said, you better believe it up here. It's kind of chilly.
After he broke his finger, he played 12 more plays and then had Kevin Gogan pull it out. He thought it was just jammed. Underneath again to Broderick Sargent, incomplete. Johnny Holland was defending there. Can you imagine? He thought it was jammed. They had to pull him out. Later, the trainer says, you know, that's not the smartest thing to do when a guy's making $11 million.
He said he expects to be back in about 4 weeks. He's going to start taking some snaps and throwing the football next week, I guess.
The feeling is Troy Aikman is the quarterback of the future for the Dallas Cowboys, and it will be Steve Walsh who eventually will be traded. And quite honestly, Walsh's value is on the line today and for the next 4 or 5 weeks. If he performs well, it'll benefit and behoove everybody involved. Otherwise, he could lose some value.
That's an awful lot of pressure to put on a rookie quarterback's shoulders.
3rd down and 10 for Walsh. Steps back up into the pocket, throws underneath. Kelvin Martin out to the 22-yard line. He'll be close to the first down, but he should be about a yard shy. Van Jakes makes the tackle.
And Kenny Stills, number 29 for the Packers, is usually getting in his 2 and 3 cents down there. Finally gets a push from one of the Dallas Cowboys. Kenny Stills likes to chat a little bit down on the field.
So does Michael Irvin, and he didn't like the mark.
It's going to be close.
Walsh now 4 for 7, 35 yards and 1 touchdown.
Michael Irvin had a nice conversation with him yesterday, and he was telling us about the situation with Herschel Walker and about the possible trade. And he said that, you know, if Herschel leaves, and that opens up the passing game, and he was going to give Herschel his car if he left.
And his watch.
And his watch.
Saxon's punt is a spiraling punt. It takes Jeff Query all the way back to the 30-yard line. It'll hit. Query will take it at the 27 and is taken out of bounds there. A 51-yard punt by Saxon, knocked out by James Dixon. No return, and with 11:04 remaining in the half, it's still 10-6 Pack.
With Ford Tempo, you can enjoy available features like automatic transaxle, air conditioning, power mirrors, and speed control, plus one very special luxury.
You made reservations, right?
The luxury of knowing Ford Tempo offers all these features for a very attractive price.
Thanks. Keep the change.
Proving once again you don't have to be well-to-do to do it well.
See your dealer now for low financing or special savings on 1990 Ford Tempo.
Attention football fans. Get a free NFL warm-up jacket when you buy 10 rolls of pink insulation R19 or higher from, you know who. But hurry, offer ends October 15th.
We help more Americans go to college, and we issue more MasterCard and Visa cards than any other company. We also serve millions of customers in every major marketplace worldwide. We're Citicorp and Citibank, America's largest financial services company. Whatever financial success you hope to achieve, whether it's business or personal, we can help you do it, and do it better than anyone else. Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
This NFL Game Summary is sponsored by Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
You see the total yards by Green Bay and that they've scored on their first 2 possessions. I think even more important than that is the fact that the Packers have held the ball 10 minutes and 35 seconds of that first 15 minutes, and they've been very effective defensively here in the second quarter as well.
The one thing that's helped Green Bay is they've been able to get the running game going early in this ball game, and then Don Mikowski's been successful throwing the football. Now, one of the things that's happened for the Green Bay Packers, when they were down on that end zone, near that end zone the second time around, we saw Don Mikowski go to Herman Fontenot. Fontenot with extremely good effort, push the ball into the end zone. That's what the Packers really need to get on top.
And Chris Jackie has stayed perfect. He had a 26-yard field goal, so he's 5 for 5 in his NFL career. And it's 10-6 Green Bay. This is Mikowski. Brent Fullwood bangs his way out to the 28-yard line. Fullwood looks like a different type runner this year. Tied for the NFL scoring lead right now with 5 touchdowns. But he's running the ball with authority, with a great deal of confidence.
Well, you know, we talked to Sterling Sharp about it yesterday. We talked to Lindy Infante about it. Everybody is of the same opinion that the guy is just so much more dedicated this year in terms of the way he's running the football. Has a lot to do with his off-season training. Lindy Infante told us they have these 440s that they have to run every training camp. He usually couldn't make the 4. This year he ran all 4 and made the times.
He now has 12 carries, 48 yards. It's second down and 7 at the 30. This is Mikowski with time underneath. Woodside breaks tackle out to the 43-yard line.
Oh, boy.
Bill Bates finally gets him down, but not before Woodside gains 13 more.
Eugene Lockhart might stop and ask Woodside to show him that move again because he missed it the first time. Watch Woodside, number 33. He's going to be on the left-hand side of your screen right there, number 33. Watch the move that he puts on Eugene Lockhart after he comes out on that circle route and gets the ball from Don Mikowski. Now watch this right here. Step, 1, 2, spin, and there goes Eugene Lockhart. So wonder he didn't pull a groin muscle on that play because he really slipped on the field.
I say Woodside broke that tackle. I was being very kind. He was lucky to get a hand on it. On first down, Mikowski looks deep, now pulls it back and throws in the direction of Kemp, has the completion and another first down. Oh, Perry Kemp put a move on the corner, drove the defensive back off, and then came back to make the catch on Walls for 16 yards.
Not only did he put a move on the corner, he slipped down again, too. It picked himself back up off the turf and then got back to the football. That grass down on the field is cut very short, Tim. I was down there walking on the field earlier today. Normally that grass is about maybe 3 inches high. Today it seems like it's about 1.5 inches high, and it's very slick.
Good look at Perry Kemp.
Now you can look at that ground. See, that grass is cut very low for this time of the year.
Kemp has 2 catches now, Dan. He has 16 for the year. He played for Infante in the USFL down with the Jacksonville Bulls. Off to a quick start this year. First down and 10. The ball at the 41 for Mikowski. On the ground. Still loose. Still loose. Cowboys have it. It's Lockhart. Eugene Lockhart can run. He's inside the 10. The Cowboys are going to score. Touchdown, Dallas. Aubrey Matthews swatted at the ball. Lockhart picked it up, and Lockhart runs it in for the touchdown. 40-yard touchdown scamper by Eugene Lockhart.
Boy, nice alert play by Lockhart, but watch here. Now, if the ball's down on the ground, the whole thing that you want to do is recover the football. Don't try to advance it. Don't try to get cute. Recover the football. You see Ed Too Tall Jones, he gets a punch at it, pushes it forward. Now Eugene Lockhart picks it up and takes off. Now, 2 guys have a chance to catch him here, Matthews as well as Mikowski. Neither one of them could do it, and both of them have pretty good speed. But Eugene wanted the end zone very badly.
Roger Rusick is on to attempt the extra point. Lockhart put a pretty good move on Billy Ard.
He sure did. He'll want that one for his highlight.
Rusick gets this one up and away, and it's good. And so with 8:31 remaining in the first half, the Cowboys retake the lead by 3.
America's best-selling cars and trucks for the 3rd straight year. Ford, winning again.
Winning the world over. Have you driven a Ford lately?
It's the best territory. First Interstate Bank territory. Because with a First Interstate Bank card, you can get cash anytime, day or night. From Washington, D.C. to New Mexico, Colorado to Nevada, In fact, all across the U.S. with Cirrus ATMs. So get a First Interstate Bank card and cash in on our territory. First Interstate Bank, we go the extra mile for you.
Left, split left!
Last week's Miller Lite NFL Player of the Week was David Fulcher, making him eligible to be Player of the Year. Look for the next winner in Wednesday's USA Today and at the end of the season for the Miller Lite NFL Player of the Year.
You are going nowhere.
Will outside interests mark the end of a beautiful friendship for Jake?
I quit.
And the Fat Man, Wednesday.
Now, what happened on the play is watch Don Mikowski's hands right there. I've got him circled already. He gets the snap from Blair Bush, but he pulls out before Bush can get the ball back. You see Mikowski pulling out, and Bush sits down because he's got a pass protect right there. And as a result, the ball hits the ground and is recovered by Eugene Lockhart, who takes it in for the score for Dallas. Score now 13-10 Dallas.
Eugene Lockhart's second touchdown of his career.
Eugene, the hitting machine.
Have no pity, Lockhart. Roger Rusick on to kick the ball for Dallas. Tim Workman comes into the ball game now. He's deep, standing on the 1 for the Packers. This will be a short kick, and it'll be taken by Workman at the 15. Nice return to the 30-yard line. Vince Workman, 5th-round draft pick out of Ohio State. 16-yard return, the tackle made by Ron Francis. It is definitely fall in Green Bay, and it is nippy today in the mid-40s. Nice breeze blowing. You can see that through the leaves and the trees.
Yeah, I see you wimped out. You put on your sweater, too. I can't believe it. This nippy weather up here.
It's cold.
Oh, come on. Your blood must be thin.
It is. I don't have as much padding. 8 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in the first half. Tim Brandt and Dan Jiggets with you. Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. 13-10 Cowboys. Mikowski looks underneath, has Woodside to the 33-yard line. Eugene Lockhart takes him down.
Let's watch this drive to see what the Packers decide to do. Methodically work underneath the zones. That time, so Woodside work up underneath the zone. He knew he's going to be covered by a linebacker. Now that they go deep to their receivers, again, working within the zone framework on some crossing patterns where they feel that they're going to be, that's where the opportunity is for them to throw the football.
Now to prepare for that on 2nd down and 6, Del Rio goes out of the game. Bates comes back in. So they've got 5 defensive backs in the secondary, and Mikowski looks that over now. Cowboys show blitz with Bates. He looks like he's coming. He is. Mikowski, quick drop, throws it, and it's complete. Kemp spins for a first down to the 42-yard line.
Nice hot read by Don Mikowski. You know he's sitting up under center. He knows he's got to check off. The receiver's got a side adjust on the play, and he does that. Perry Kemp, number 81. Side adjust, comes on the quick slant. Mikowski pops it right out to him, right from where that defensive back, Billy Bates, came from.
Mikowski now 9 of 12 for 95 yards. Coming up next, our NFL doubleheader continues with San Francisco at New Orleans. That's coming up next here on CBS Sports. Stay with us. Meanwhile, Mikowski's hit 7 passes in a row. It's first down at the 40 for the Pack. Again, magic to throw. Has the completion. Sharp spin move into Dallas territory. He'll be close to another first down. The tackle was made by Ray Horton, but he needed some help from Francis.
Sterling Sharp was a whirling dervish on this play. Now he's covered one-on-one by Ron Francis. Watch here, he's done take him afield. Now he's got him turning, running with him. And when you have your defender running with you, now you can come out of your break, go to the sideline, or go in a crossing pattern. Now here's that little whirling dervish activity here. There's 1 spin, there's 2 spins, and finally he's down. Looks like some ballroom dancing.
Horton, Francis, and they needed help from Lockhart. He's not that big to cause all that problem. He's only 170 pounds.
He knows that he's one of those guys that Green Bay is really counting on to be a leader and to be a very productive guy offensively for him. And he's living up to the promise. You know, made him a first-round draft choice.
First down, Green Bay. 6 minutes, 30 seconds remain first half. And from midfield, Makowski will have a first down. Jimmy Johnson very concerned, although he leads by 3. He knows he's also looking at the offense, which leads the league, averaging 425 yards per game. Big sack for Fullwood. Another first down to the 35-yard line. Tripped up by Bill Bates. Oh, Brent Fullwood. A gain of 13.
Got some good blocking by Keith Woodside on the play and from his offensive line. Watch over there on this left side of that offensive line. Watch the blocking over there, and then watch number 33, Keith Woodside, with the block out on the outside linebacker. Watch him come right up in there. Now he takes on the linebacker. Fullwood splits right through the hole there and makes a nice little run out of it and gets a block downfield from Sterling Shop as well. Here's the block on Lockhart. Watch this play by Keith Woodside, number 33. Nice block and a nice solid block. Gives your back an opportunity to squeeze through there and get the yardage.
Fullwood came into this game, Dan, averaging 5.3 yards per carry this season. He's adding to that. Makowski on first down has all the time he wants. Here's Woodside again. Now he's inside the 30. Vince Albritton, who was on IR last year, makes the tackle, but Woodside has another big gain for the Packers.
Albritton wasn't falling for those fakes that time. He said, you can stand there and fake all day. I'm still going to tackle you.
Keith Woodside now 20 receptions for the year. Only 11 carries, but he's averaging 3.5 yards every time he runs the football as well. So he's having a fine season. Just a second-year player out of Texas A&M. It'll be second down and call it 2 at the 29. Brent Fullwood. First down, Green Bay. Right over top Jim Jeffcoat.
Tony Manders had a nice block there that time on Tony Tolbert. Now, you have to wonder how good is this line of the Packers playing this offensive line if Tony Manders finds it difficult to get a starting spot. I talked to Charlie Davis, the offensive line coach, earlier today, and he said they're trying to bring him along. He's having a little problem pass protecting, as all rookie offensive linemen usually do. But the fact is, Alan Weingrad, number 73 for the Packers, and Ken Rutgers, who's the #1 choice himself, have been playing very well at the tackle position. So Tony's going to have a chance to develop and get his pass protection together and settle down a little bit before he's really called on to play.
This offensive line has performed very well together. You see him stretch the chains.
One guy they really
just
miss,
that far.
One guy they really miss, I think, a little bit spiritually at least, is Mark Cannon, who was their starting center for 4 years and was released last week by the Packers.
Number 63 is an eligible receiver.
So James Campen is an eligible receiver now, number 63. That's what the officials are saying. This offensive line has allowed good protection from Makowski. They've given up only 7 sacks this season. It's third down and 1, the ball at the 28. Fullwood off the right side, needs a block. He's not going to get there. Good pursuit by the defense. Randy Shannon was there first for the Cowboys, and the fans want Lindy Infante to go for it on fourth down and short. Instead, he sends on Chris Jackie, the kicker.
Well, you think that, you know, on third and short, you don't make it. You want to get the field goal to at least tie the ball game up here if you're Lindy Infante. So, and Chris Jackie's been kicking extraordinarily well. So you want to tie the ball game up here and not take a chance of not being successful in getting the first down. Smart move by Lindy Infante.
Chris Jackie has hit a 52-yarder. This will be from 47. It's long enough, and it's no good. So Chris Jackie misses the first field goal of his NFL career, and the score will remain the same. It's 13-10 Cowboys with 3:03 remaining in the first half. A 3-point Dallas lead with 3:03 remaining in the first half, but Dallas still has only 2 first downs in the ball game and 50 yards total offense. That's it.
Steve Walsh and the Dallas offense has some trouble moving the football, but you can get in that secondary of the Packers and you may be able to have some success in one-on-one coverage on this play. Let's see what happens.
First down at the 28. Walker in motion, Walsh to throw. Does. Has the completion to Irvin at the 35-yard line. It'll be gain of 5 and bring up second down and 5. The tackle was made by Johnny Holland.
Had a chance to visit with Johnny yesterday, and told us a pretty interesting story. You know, the fact that he likes playing up here in Green Bay, really enjoys it. And he says it reminds him, the atmosphere reminds him a great deal of Texas A&M, kind of a collegiate atmosphere where you can really get into the community and settle down and enjoy yourself. He played it, of course, at Texas A&M.
He was anxious for this telecast so the home folks could see him back home, not only in Dallas, but in Hempstead, Texas. 2nd down and 4 to 35. Walsh this time has time and hits Walker. Across the 40, 1st down to midfield.
Nice block on the sideline by Michael Irving, number 88. Kind of gave Herschel an extra yard or two there, and you saw Herschel had to give him a high five. That's payment enough on that play.
A gain of 18, so they move the chains, and they're inside Packer territory.
Watch Herschel hide right along the line of scrimmage. That's where he's going to pop out, number 34, of course, on the play. Now watch him settle down on that line of scrimmage. You see him there right in the middle of your screen. Now he comes behind the defensive line, makes the reception, gets away from Brian Noble. Now watch this block on the sideline by Michael Irving. A nice little stock block there, getting away to the defender and allow your running back to turn the corner a little bit more.
He does have deceptive speed. Here's the double screen. Fakes one side, come back now to Sargent. The ball's loose. And the Cowboys get it back. Well, we talked about Dallas being -4 in the giveaway takeaway ratio. One of the main concerns of Jimmy Johnson, and they've been putting it on the ground here today, and it's been costly.
You know, that's a mindset too. You get into that mindset of dropping the football and not recovering and those kinds of things. Works on you very badly.
They get it back. It's the 2-minute warning. We'll be back. 13-10 is our score. It's been exciting. James Dixon took the opening kickoff, ran 89 yards and set up a Walsh to Irving touchdown. Chris Jackie hit a 26-yarder for Green Bay. Makowski hit Fontenot, was 10-6 Packers. And then Eugene Lockhart picked up a fumble for Dallas and ran it in 40 yards in the 2nd quarter, and it's 13-10 Cowboys. The Cowboys just put the ball on the ground on a fumble. They lost 6. It'll be 2nd down and 16 for Steve Walsh and his Cowboys. Walsh drills it to Herschel Walker. Herschel down to the 44-yard line. Not nearly enough for a first. Johnny Holland stops him there. Coming up next Saturday on CBS Sports, we'll take you to Auburn, Alabama, where the LSU Tigers, featuring quarterback Tommy Hotson, will take on 11th ranked Auburn with Reggie Slack. So it's a head-up day of strong arms and salutations. Incomplete to Herschel Walker.
Boy, I tell you, Herschel catches that football. He's gone to the end zone. It was just over him just a little bit because Walsh was flushed out of the pocket just a tad. And Johnny Holland had the coverage downfield on Herschel Walker. But if he had just one more second to get the ball, and now watch Walsh on the play here. See, he has a step up in the pocket. Now he throws it out to Herschel just to let him just a tad under there, and Herschel had to go up in the air to get it and just could not make the play. We also had a penalty on the play.
But it was declined, so Mike Saxon comes on to punt it away for Dallas. You know, one of the comments after Herschel was very vociferous about the fact after game 1 that he wanted to carry the ball more and wanted to get more involved. Reporter said, well, Jimmy Johnson, what will you say to Herschel? And his reply was, catch the football. Herschel probably should have had that one. Jeff Query is deep for the Pack. He's standing on his own 10. Saxon is at his own 40. Saxon gets off a high tail wagger that will go out of bounds on the 7-yard line. We'll see where they officially mark it at the 7.5, but a fine punt by Saxon, 36 yards into the corner. But there is a flag.
Jerry Mark Bright's got his crew down there getting this thing squared away. One of the most respected referees in the game, Jerry Mark Bright.
Illegal substitution foul on the kicking team.
Well, it's against Dallas, so they'll move them back, and they'll have to do it again.
The legal substitution foul, what may have happened there is if you have to check in if you're going to go out there if you have a ineligible number. Maybe that's what happened to the Cowboys on that play. Either that or you have to stagger your people in terms of the upbacks on the punt team.
3rd penalty for Dallas, and the officials that Jimmy Johnson hired to stand in at practice down in Texas ought to let them know about things like that.
Well, he said they were scared to say too much to all these other girls.
There is no foul on the play. The substitute never left the field. He was legal. The play stand.
All right.
No wonder the officials didn't let Jimmy know about it. The guy doesn't leave the field. He can't be a substitute.
And you're better off staying away from Jimmy when you call something like that and you make a mistake.
I like Jimmy Johnson. He's a good coach. He only lost 4 games in, what, 4 years or more than that down in Miami.
That's right. I tell you, though, I like something that Jerry Markwright just did there. You know, he comes back and explains the fact that they made a mistake and corrects it on the field. He did that in a game last year. I saw him down in with the Phoenix Cardinals. And there was a situation where he could have thrown a player out. You know, they got into a little tussle, and he got in the middle of it. The player never saw him. Jerry had the class to turn around and say, hey, I know the guy never saw me. I'm not going to throw you out of the game, but don't do it again.
But he threw the flag and penalized him.
Yeah, 15. But
it wasn't a free lick. First down at the 8. Mikowski out of the shotgun. He's got pressure. Steps up out of that, and he can run. Avoids Bates, gets the first down before he's finally hit from behind. Tony Tolbert finally made the tackle, but it was a gain of 13, and you saw the agility of Don Mikowski and why they call him Magic. Timeout, Green Bay.
First charge timeout, Green Bay.
So with 1:12 remaining in the half, Magic wants to talk it over. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining with 1:12 remaining in the half. Dallas took their first timeout in the very first series, and then Green Bay takes one here, trying to establish their hurry-up offense.
We just saw Don Mikowski pull out of that pocket and take off with the football. That's one thing the Cowboys defensive players told us they were very concerned about, was his ability to run the football when he wants to pull it down and take off.
He told us he's got tendonitis in his right shoulder, and it takes a while to get warmed up. He appears to be warm now. He's playing well. On first down again, he steps up, goes deep. Sharp is open. To the 30. Inside the 10. Touchdown, Green Bay. For Sterling Sharp. And he leaves with the football. He'll keep that one, thank you.
I guess so. We just talked about Don Mikowski heating up that arm. Boy, that's the way to heat it up. Get downfield long.
Chris Jackson for the extra point, and it's good. And just like that, the Packers regain the lead. It's 17-13, and we still have 59 seconds to go in the first half.
We talked to Don Mikowski about his maturity and how now he's learned to sit in the pocket and not run when he doesn't have to and be effective sitting back there and throwing long. Now watch him here. He gets good protection from his offensive line, looks downfield, gives his receiver Sterling Sharp an opportunity to make his break about 20 yards downfield on Ron Francis. Now he just airs it out down here in the corner. You see, Sharp has already beaten Francis on the play. Ball just slightly underthrown, really, to Sterling Sharp. Now he makes a nice move here, comes back against the grain. Ray Horton can't turn around and catch him in time. Now he just heads to the end zone, and it's a foot race from there.
Watch the stiff arm.
Yeah, nice little stiff arm there. You see, his stiff arms are enough to get into the end zone, spins into the end zone for the touchdown.
Sharp has 3 catches, 102 yards, and 1 touchdown. He has 26 catches on the year. Last year, he set a Packer rookie record with 55 receptions. He's 5'11", 200 pounds, out of South Carolina, and he can fly. And Magic, Don Mikowski put it right on the money. Coming up at halftime, Brent and Irv with all the scores, highlights, and latest information. And Leslie Visser has the story of injuries in the NFL, how they affect the players who suffer them and the players who cause them. That's all coming up at halftime on the NFL Today. Jackie's kick is taken by Dixon at the 12. To the 22-yard line, and Dixon is dangerous. He's had a couple big returns, one of 89, one of 37, and this one for 13.
He's kind of solidified his position on those special teams.
He sure has.
You know, along with Leslie Visser and what she's going to do on the NFL Today, it's interesting. The Players Association just did a study on players and how leaving the game affects them. It's amazing to see the kinds of problems players have adjusting to life after football, and the numbers of players that have that same kind of problem. And they did 2 studies, one on players previous to 1970 and after 1970. It's very, very enlightening.
I suspect both mentally and physically.
Absolutely.
2 guys here with degenerative arthritis. First down at the 22. Herschel Walker Powers his way to the 27-yard line.
Nice counter tray blocking on that. Backside guard and tackle, pull out, lead the play around the right side of the offensive line for the Cowboys.
Dallas takes its second timeout with 47 seconds remaining in the half. Tim Harris, John Anderson made the tackle. Anderson is the defensive captain as you look at Steve Walsh. Talking to David Shula and Jimmy Johnson.
Tell you why they call that the counter tray or the counter OT, that play. What you do is you pull your backside guard and tackle and block everybody on the front side of the play. That's the side you're going to run to down. Let that guard and tackle pull out and lead the play on the opposite side of the offensive line. And then you pull your running back, Herschel Walker, up behind you. A counter OT. And Mike Ditka brought it to Chicago when he came from Dallas with Tom Landry. And I know we ran it a great deal.
Harris trying to incite the crowd, trying to get everybody involved. He got in trouble from the officials last week for that. Second down and 4 at the 28. Walsh has pressure. This is Sargent to the 35, to the 37-yard line. Clock continues to move at 36.
Steve Walsh is very calm in the pocket, though. Sean Patterson, 96, came in and put some pressure on him. He just backed up and threw the ball downfield to Broderick Sargent.
Tiger Green will get credit for the tackle. You see the clock there. It continues to move. Shotgun now for the Cowboys. Again, there's pressure. Walsh goes deep to Irvin, and it's overthrown. Good coverage by Dave Brown, the longtime veteran, on Michael Irvin.
And I want to say something else, too. Kevin Gogan, number 66, offensive tackle for the Cowboys, is doing an extraordinary job against Tim Harris, who does that outside linebacker, number 97. Last week, we told you Tim Harris had 4 sacks against the Atlanta Falcons. And watch him here working against Gogan. Gogan does a nice job of getting some separation there. Good punch. Lean on your guy. Push him away from your quarterback. That allows Steve Walsh to step up in the pocket. Stepnowski gets a good shot there, and Patterson late as well.
Harris, the NFL sack leader. Second down and 10. More importantly, only 15 ticks of the clock remain in the half. Walsh, Michael Irvin to the 40-yard line. 8 seconds remain. A gain of 22 yards. The tackle made by Van Jakes.
Boy, you know, as the Cowboys get a little bit more experience in these situations, maybe then you have your receiver break to the sideline instead of to the middle of the field.
Cowboys take their last timeout.
Watch here, Michael Irvin on the left side of your screen is going to make the reception from Steve Walsh. The key, though, that you want your receiver to do in this situation, you don't want to burn your last time out. And that's what Steve Walsh and the Cowboys have to do here. Now watch Irving. If he has a chance, he's going to try to work to that sideline. Ball's thrown a little bit high, and quite possibly that's how come he didn't have the opportunity to get out of bounds. But that's what you want your receiver to do down there, get out of bounds and save yourself a timeout.
Third catch for Irvin today, 33 yards and a touchdown. You see the Cowboys don't have any timeouts remaining. 7 seconds remain.
And this is a tough spot now because, you know, you try to kick your field goal from here. You got to do it right now. You don't have another opportunity maybe to get it done. If you run a play, you get 4 seconds maybe for the pass play. But then if you don't complete the ball out of bounds, you got to throw it away to stop the clock and give yourself a chance to kick the field goal.
Well, they're out of range for virtually
anything but a cannon.
Exactly. So it's first down at the 40 with 7 seconds remaining in the half. Walsh to Irvin. I don't think he caught it.
He did
catch it, but I thought he was on the line. I mean, I didn't think it was complete. It should not have been ruled complete.
Boy, he really nailed both feet down on that one. That was a very nice catch here. Let's watch him on the sideline. Watch him get both feet in here. He looks down there, and ooh, he's got that foot on the line. He's got it on the line. At least from this angle. Let's look at it from another angle. Let's look at it from another angle, though, to see if sometimes the. Boy, that's close.
You mean you didn't believe me? I was watching his feet. A gain of 13. They mark it there, but they're going to review it.
After further review, the play stands. First down.
Boy, because the angles can be deceptive on plays. But what happens sometimes, and if you got to watch, you have to rely on your people down on the field sometimes because the angles on television can be very deceptive, particularly when you're shooting from this side. It appears that his foot is on that white line, but you know, you rely on those guys down on the field for some things.
So Roger Ruzick is on to attempt a 46-yard field goal. That's a big play if this thing goes. Snap was good. The hold is good. The kick is long enough. But it's no good. So that's the end of the first half. With the score, the Green Bay Packers 17, the Dallas Cowboys 13.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Shop Vac wet dry vacuums. If you own a house, you've got to own a Shop Vac. And by Gallo White Grenache. It will change the way you think about Gallo.
Mikowski hit his last 10 passes of the half for the Packers. 79-yard touchdown to Sterling Sharp for the final score, and Green Bay leads Dallas at the half 17-13. And welcome back to Lambeau Field, everybody. I'm Tim Brandt along with Dan Jiggets. And Dan, actually the Cowboys are fortunate to be this close in the ball game. They have only 13 yards rushing, and even that was set up. The last touchdown by the Cowboys was set up on a bad play. It was a fumble.
Well, what we have is Don Mikowski pulled out from center for Blair Bush a little too early. And as a result, the ball went down on the ground. And watch Eugene Lockhart, number 56, is going to recover it for the Cowboys, scoop it up, take it in 40 yards for the touchdown. That really is what kept Dallas in the ball game to this point. Now, one of the problems that they're having is they've not been able to run the football successfully. At least that's how it looks on the top of it, but they really only try.
Mikowski hit his last 10 passes of the half for the Packers. 79-yard touchdown to Sterling Sharp for the final score, and Green Bay leads Dallas at the half 17-13. And welcome back to Lambeau Field, everybody. I'm Tim Brandt along with Dan Jiggets. And Dan, actually the Cowboys are fortunate to be this close in the ball game. They have only 13 yards rushing, and even that was set up. The last touchdown by the Cowboys was set up on a bad play. It was a fumble.
Well, what we have is Don Mikowski pulled out from center for Blair Bush a little too early. And as a result, the ball went down on the ground. And watch Eugene Lockhart, number 56, is going to recover it for the Cowboys, scoop it up, take it in 40 yards for the touchdown. That really is what kept Dallas in the ball game to this point. Now, one of the problems that they're having is they've not been able to run the football successfully. At least that's how it looks on the top of it, but they've really only tried 4 rushes so far in this ball game.
Of those 13 yards, 12 go to Herschel Walker, only 6 first downs for Dallas. Take a look at some of the statistics. They are very revealing of what's taken place thus far. You see the rushing yards heavily in favor of Green Bay, the passing yards in favor of the Pack, and the total yards very one-sided. Time of possession has also been heavily in favor of Green Bay.
And that leads right into the running game. If you don't run the football, there's no way that you're going to get the time of possession up in your ball game.
Take a look at the play selection. Now, Walsh looked good. 11 of 16, 117 yards and a touchdown. Found Michael Irvin 4 times. But the story really has been Mikowski, 12 of 15, hitting his last 10. CBS Sports coverage of NFL football will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. The Gillette Apra Plus system and Gillette Foaming, together the best a man can get. And by Levi's Dockers. If you're not wearing Dockers, you're just wearing pants.
Outside Lambeau Field, it's quiet in Green Bay today. Not much traffic out there, and the reason is 57,063 of the residents here in this fine city are right here at Lambeau Field. Ruzick to kick off, and it's a high kick that will be taken by Workman, and Workman carries it to the 37-yard line. So it was a short kick by Ruzick and a return of 23 yards. Don Mikowski, his numbers in the first half were very impressive, and he's had that hot hand hitting the last 10. Came into this game with 7 touchdowns, but 9 interceptions. 63% completion ratio.
And look at those numbers. Completion ratio, as you mentioned, 63%, 59 and 79, 861 yards, 7 touchdowns, and the key, only 2 interceptions.
That's what he's been doing in the second half this year.
Yeah.
Packers try to bang it straight ahead, get a couple.
Well, you mentioned just before he threw the touchdown pass to Sterling Sharp, and he had tendonitis in the shoulder and is kind of heating it up, and it takes a little while for the arm to get warm. When he visited with us yesterday, he came in with an ice pack on the arm, and that's unusual. I knew he pitched when he was in prep school in college, and I asked him if that was one of those kinds of things that pitchers always do, and he said, yeah, but he's had that problem with his shoulder, but certainly in the second half he gets it heated up pretty good.
He went to Fork Union prep school. That's where Testaverde went, I think. Second down and 9. Fullwood with a second carry this half out to the 43-yard line. Tackle was made by Bill Bates. We'll show you where they stand in the NFC Central. Chicago, as you know, unbeaten but trailing Tampa Bay right now by a bundle. Green Bay is in second place, 5 points away from being unbeaten, but they are 2-2. And Minnesota and Tampa Bay right there with them. Now in the NFC East, the Giants are the unbeaten team in that division, and then you see the others that are evened up, and of course Dallas 0 for the NFL yet this year. Bad case of the Ophers. 4 wide receivers on 3rd down and 4 at the 43 from Mikowski. Steps up into the pocket, has plenty of run across the 40 to the 35-yard line. He had plenty of room to run in a gain of 22.
And there's that old baseball player in him. So that nice little hook slide in there. Don't let those guys hit you. You're pretty valuable to your ball club. Now this is a coverage run here. Don Mikowski can't find anybody open downfield. You saw Sterling Sharp right across the middle of your screen. He was covered very well. And he knows he's got some athletic ability and he can run pretty fast. Get downfield now, hit the ground, slide in there, and don't let anybody get a cheap shot on you. It's kind of like a Ricky Henderson slide. You've been seeing that in the Major League Baseball playoffs. Watch this slide here. He's safe at second base.
I get excited when he runs. I almost said plenty of run to room. First down at the 37 for the Pack. Mikowski has the completion. Woodside to the 20-yard line.
Trying to figure out what was going on that play. Ron Francis and Randy Shannon were both back trying to help Ray Horton with the deep receiver. And that was Sterling Sharp, and nobody came down to pick up Keith Woodside, who was up underneath, and he was right down near the sideline, right along the line of scrimmage. Nobody covered him.
A gain of 17. It is the 4th catch for Woodside in this ball game.
Another guy who Lindy Infante says has really come a long way and really developed an all-around back for him.
Kemp to the top of the screen. Sharp to the bottom. Fullwood in motion. Mikowski has the backside of the pocket closed down on him, and Lockhart almost had an interception. Boy, Randy Shannon came to really hit the pressure on Mikowski, and Lockhart had the pass right in his hands.
He sure did, but it was a little bit behind him, and he slipped and fell. But watch Shannon, number 94, with the pressure here on Mikowski. Mikowski has some time to throw the ball. You see him setting up in the pocket there. Now he gets a little antsy and kind of comes out and unloads it. And it goes to Eugene Lockhart, who just can't handle it. Watch, the ball's thrown behind Lockhart a little bit. He's trying to adjust to it by turning back around. That's a tough thing to do when you're going full speed in the other direction.
On 2nd and 10, play action, overthrown. And Mikowski just threw that ball over the head of Fullwood because there was a whole lot of pressure coming, and Del Rio left Mikowski on the ground.
It seems like when the Packers get down here in that red zone, near that 20-yard line or inside the 20-yard line, Dallas is bringing a lot of folks to try to rush the passer a little bit. And so far it's been fairly successful for him on a couple of different occasions.
Look at Jimmy Johnson. The first time the Cowboys have been back to Lambeau Field since the Ice Bowl back in 1967, New Year's Eve. And who can forget the quarterback sneak by? Bart Starr.
I was talking to Dick Nolan, who's on that Cowboys staff, and Max McGee, who announces for Green Bay up here, and they were going over some old notes about that game. Both of them were in it.
3rd down and 10. Again, there's pressure, and again, Mikowski has to unload it. There is a flag.
I believe it's defensive holding downfield. Now we got another one back in the backfield of the Packers, so we may have offsetting.
Mikowski's checking his right arm, make sure it's all right. Look at that, he's checking his forearm.
I just wanted to make sure his wristbands were on straight. Yeah, there we go, make the adjustment. See, they were down on his hand a little bit too far.
Don Mikowski, ACC guy out of the University of Virginia.
You got to look good to play good. I knew you were going to get that ACC pop in there, too.
We've got 2 fouls on the play. We've got holding, number 45, defense. We have intentional grounding, number 7, offense. Penalties offset. 3rd down.
So Manny Hendricks was called first. Mikowski was called second, and Lindy Infante doesn't like that call.
Where could the call have come from? Intentional grounding. I didn't see that on the play. The ball was overthrown to the receiver, but intentional grounding, that's stretching it a little bit. Now Mikowski's going to be under a little bit of pressure. He's got to dump the ball off. He's trying to get it off downfield. Now watch here. He squirts out of the pocket there. Now sets up and throws the football. He threw it long. Threw it towards the sideline. Boy, I don't know. I can't call that intentional grounding. If you got a receiver somewhere in that area, if you're under duress and you throw the football away, that's part of football. I don't know how that call is going to be made.
Well, Mark Bright has his flag. He's going to put that one away. He's the guy that stands back there. The referee stands behind the quarterback, so that was his call.
Well, I know what he'd like to see is he'd like to see that running back a little bit closer to the football, but if you're a quarterback under duress, you try to unload it. You know, that's a smart thing to do. I don't think you should get penalized for that.
It brings up 3rd down and 10 from the 20-yard line. Mikowski has a whole lot of receivers down here to the left side. This ball is incomplete. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage. But he had 3 receivers on the left side of the field and never looked off that way. It was intended for Sterling Sharp.
He had 3 of them who basically made their cuts in different areas of the field, but they all made their cuts along the same line. And that's why I was a little confusing to figure out even who he was throwing to on the play. He had Kemp, Query, and then deep he had Sharp.
Chris Jackie is on to attempt the field goal. It'll be a 38-yard attempt. He missed from 47 already, and this one's blocked. And it's no good.
I believe that was Too Tall once again that got a hand on it. Came through the middle. You know, Too Tall blocks passes, he blocks kicks. He blocked one on me when we were playing against the Cowboys, as a matter of fact.
Even after being blocked, it almost made it. That's why I hesitated.
Watch here, right on this side of play, that's where it's going to get blocked from, and I believe it's number 72, Ed Too Tall Jones, makes a habit out of doing these kinds of things. You see him reaching right up there in the middle of the line of scrimmage, just tipped it enough to throw it off course.
Now watch, it still almost made it. It hits the upright. See that? Hits the crossbar right on the corner.
They should have signs that help us. Have signs that like, slow down, cop hiding behind building.
Young man, you're in big trouble.
Hate that when they ask you.
Do you know how fast you were going?
Oh, no. You know what I tell them? You know why I said, how about you? You had to catch up with me. I was driving down the street and I saw a sign. It said, slow down, road coming to an end. What about slowing down for? I don't want to go off the cliff slowly.
Levi's 100% cotton Dockers. If you're not wearing Dockers, you're just wearing pants.
Oh, I love what is it, wrong way. How do they know where I'm going?
At 1,184,880 miles, a Mercedes-Benz 180D is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's most durable car. Just how far can a Mercedes actually go? Frankly, nobody knows.
Hey, check out the old timer.
Come on, will you? Come on! I got it. I got it. I got it. It was the chance of a lifetime.
I know.
Hey, see if you can hang on to this.
The best comes shining through.
You know, Tim, looking at the Cowboys press guide, Ed Jones has batted down 82 passes in 9 seasons since the stats were first kept. And, of course, 14 last season. Of course, that was a field goal, but I'd like to see his numbers on those as well.
He did get credit for blocking that field goal. Cowboys have first down. This is Herschel Walker. Needs a block from Irvin, and Irvin blocks him right into Herschel. But Herschel will be close to a first down. Gain of 9.5.
We talked with Ed Too Tall Jones yesterday about a lot of things, you know, how he survived for 15 years in the National Football League and, you know, kind of that Nolan Ryan type of thing. How do you just keep hanging on and doing a good job at it, too, by the way. And he mentioned something that's pretty interesting about how the game has changed a great deal in terms of how people play now with pain and that kind of thing, and how they're not like the old throwbacks were.
Drew Pearson was telling me that it is really an upset if you ever see Ed Too Tall Jones in the training room. Just never goes in there.
You kind of got a kick out of that when you mentioned that.
I really did. The only thing he tapes are his joints on his hand, and now he puts a couple of wraps of tape around his ankles only because he'll get fined if he doesn't.
This is cosmetics.
Herschel has the first down.
But the other interesting thing that he said was that when he was boxing, I'm talking about Ed Too Tall Jones, he said when he was boxing, he really did not want to come back to football, but some very personal problems, and he has not never told anyone what those problems were, made him come back to football. But he says when it's all over and he retires, he wants to get a stable of boxers and become a manager.
Said he didn't even tell his family the reason why he stopped boxing with a 6-0 record and came back to football. He said he was emphatic when he left football that he was not coming back, and he meant it. He did not want to come back to football, but he has, and he's played well. Last year, one of his best seasons ever. 38 years old. Like Kareem Jabbar, he just keeps getting better. Herschel Walker, left side. Tackle made by Mark Murphy. That is no telling how long Too Tall can play. He's still in great shape, and he still plays well.
You know, that Dallas running game is now trying to get cranked up a little bit. That time I saw Nate Newton, number 61, get his man Sean Patterson and kind of push him out of the way and let Herschel break the ball back behind him. Got a chance to visit with Nate yesterday, and he's a very comical guy too. When you get Nate in the same room with Michael Irvin and Herschel Walker, it'd be kind of a lot of fun.
2nd down and 7 for Dallas. Walker, left side, breaks a tackle to the 40-yard line.
If the Cowboys want to be successful in the second half, they have got to run Herschel Walker. They got to put the ball in his hands and Johnston's hands and allow these guys to get the running game going, because that's the only way you're going to use up the clock. That's the only way you're going to keep the ball out of Don Mikowski's hands. And if he's got a hot hand in the second half, you better do that.
2 plays ago, it was Herschel running around the left side for 9, ran right up the back of Michael Irvin, and they were laughing about that last night when we were sitting and chatting.
That's right. Michael told him, he says, Herschel, if you run up my back one more time, I'm not going to block for you.
He didn't. If he had thrown the block, they would have had the first. 4th straight running play for Dallas. It's 3rd down and 2 at the 40. Walker again. Spins off, gains 1. Brian Noble met him head on. It'll bring up 4th down and short.
Brian Noble's a real solid linebacker for the Packers. Every year, and you look around, you look at who leads the team in tackles, who's right up there, and Brian Noble's always there playing solid linebacker for the Pack.
Mike Saxon comes on 4th and 1. Cowboys are not going to go for it. And one thing Jimmy Johnson said yesterday, you won't see any fake punts either.
Yeah, that's right.
Jeff Query is deep for the Pack. He stands at the 17-yard line.
Said the fake punts have been put on ice.
Got to look at Vince Workman as well. He's at the 31 in case there's a short punt. And there is. Saxon shanks this one. It hits at the 35. Gets a Cowboy roll, goes out at the 34-yard line. So Mike Saxon has a 26-yard punt with 8:28 remaining, 3rd period. Next Sunday, our NFL coverage continues at 11:30 Central Time with the NFL Today. Then you'll see either San Francisco at Dallas, that's where Dan and I will be, or Green Bay at Minnesota. That's all next Sunday on CBS Sports, and it starts with these guys right here, the NFL Today.
The 4 horsemen.
Looking forward to going down to Dallas. Cowboys and 49ers. Here it's 1st down and 10 at the 33 from Mikowski. 3-step drop, drills it sharp to the 40. Stretches out to the 41.
Sterling knows he's going to get that, he's going to get a big cushion right now from the Cowboys and Ron Francis. Now watch, see that cushion? It's about 8 or 9 yards, and right away, Ron Francis starts backing up. Sterling shot, runs the stop route, comes back, gets the ball. It's very well thrown by Don Mikowski. That's the kind of stuff that also keeps the ball on the field and burns up the clock.
And you burn him for a 79-yarder.
Yeah, you can get a little cushion there.
He'll play soft. That's his 4th catch, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Gained 8 on that last one. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Brent Fullwood. 1st down Green Bay to the 47-yard line. Ed Jones.
Tim, we talked about how Brent is running with a lot of determination. You saw that time. It took about 4 or 5 Cowboys to finally stop him. That's what you want to see out of your running backs when they carry that ball up into the line of scrimmage. Demand some respect from the defense, and that's what Brent Fullwood's doing. Watch him here on the play again. Number 21 right in the middle of your screen, takes the handoff from Mikowski, and he just punishes that defense when he gets the ball. Now, he's also using good eyesight here. He sees the hole now. He turns that shoulder, squares it up. Ed Too Tall Jones is trying to bring him down, as we mentioned before. Ed's about 6'9", and you see, takes a couple of Cowboys to do the job.
Ed Jones is also 270. Fullwood's 209. There he is again on first down. Boy, this time Lockhart really tags him. Lockhart wasn't first there. Hamill was, but I'll tell you, Lockhart cleaned up pretty well.
Eugene came in and they call him the hitting machine, and this now you can see why. Here he is right in the middle of your screen, number 56. Now watch him put the shot there on Brent Fullwood. Ooh, boy, he delivered on that one. Got that shoulder all the way in there.
See, Hamill got him low, set him up, and Lockhart just came in.
A little Timmy and Lassie action.
Tucked the tail, sky the eyes, and put him on his back. 75 yards and 19 carries now for Fullwood. It's second down and 8. Gets the first down. Ron Francis had to come up and make the tackle, but it wasn't up for the first.
That was another coverage rush because Mikowski did not have anybody open. Good coverage by the Dallas secondary downfield. But watch Too Tall and his technique now working against Alan Weingrad, number 73. There's that underarm rip. Take him upfield, shoulder slap. Look for the quarterback. Oh, he's over the other side and he's running. Never going to catch him, so take the play off and go for the first down marker.
Thought it was interesting when we asked what was tougher to train for, boxing or football. He says no comparison. Boxing by far.
You know, there's no timeouts in boxing, and there's no
place
substitutions.
To hide.
We mentioned how successfully Don Mikowski's been running the football. He's got 41 yards as opposed to the Dallas offense with only 34. So Mikowski's having a good day pulling that rock down and running with it.
That could actually be Mikowski versus Herschel, because 33 of those 34 yards for Dallas have been Herschel. Well, I gave him the first down and I was a little bit quick. He still has to go about 2 more inches. So it'll be third down and a couple of inches.
You know, it's funny, you look at Mikowski's name, everybody wants to call him Magikowski, but the J is silent. And even when we talk to the quarterbacks from the Cowboys, they call him Magikowski. Steve Walsh did.
But he likes the nickname Magic.
Oh, yeah.
He even considered maybe I should be called Don Magic.
He comes up with a couple more of those 79 yards to Sterling Sharp, and I think there'd be no problem changing his name.
Haddix in the backfield with Workman. And it's incomplete. It was intended for Vince Workman, and the crowd doesn't like that call at all.
No, I think they're also going to get holding against the Packers. Flags thrown right in the offensive line. You see the offensive lineman talking to the officials with their arms out. You know it's trouble.
We've seen Vince Workman, the rookie, a lot today out of Ohio State.
Holding number 65, offense, third down.
Ron Hallstrom. Third penalty of the game for Green Bay. 2 have been on Hallstrom. But I was going to mention Workman. Infante really likes Workman. He's not really ready yet to play, says Infante, but he says that he is some kind of tough. And he really likes the way he does play, and he thinks he's going to be here for a long, long time.
Pretty complete back for him. You know, it was funny on that play, the penalty, as a result of Dallas accepting the penalty, the offense for the Packers had to come back on the field. They were all the way over on the sideline on the bench. They thought it was going to be fourth down.
Third and 11 now at the 46. Look at the pack all lined up front. Mikowski with a quick drop and a throw to Kemp, and they aren't going to get there. Nice defensive play by Dallas to the 49-yard line. Everson Walls was all over him, but boy, did the Cowboys load up.
They did load up, but you know what, when you have the Packers spreading the field like that on the horizontal and vertical stretch, then all of a sudden you got to respect all of that, so you can't really blitz as much as you want to.
So Don Bracken comes on to punt. It's only the second punt for him this afternoon. His first punt went 40 yards. Derek Shepard is deep for Dallas. Shepard played with New Orleans the first 3 weeks of the season. First 4 weeks of the season, was acquired this past Wednesday. And Clint Didier downs it for Green Bay at the 21. A punt of 27 yards. 4:40 remains, third period. It's still 17-13 Green Bay.
It has been said that a good beer is like a good man. If you look beneath the surface, invariably, the best will come shining through. Smooth, never bitter Miller beer.
By that man, a Miller beer, the best comes shining through.
Recently, Road and Track magazine concluded a search for the world's 5 best cars. After exhaustive testing and analysis, they chose 4 exotic sports cars. And even more significantly, only 1 sedan. The Mercedes-Benz 300E.
Send up a crossfoot. Give me an app check.
There's a place in the friendly skies where not everyone's so friendly.
Stop. Hold it. I need 3 hours minimum. Check it out.
Over 9,000 mechanics of United Airlines work here.
Give me a mini grinder.
They're picky, fussy, stubborn. But if you fly, they're the best friends you'll ever have. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
An SEC collision. Tommy Hudson pilots LSU against Reggie Slack and Auburn. Tiger meets Tiger next Saturday on CBS Sports.
So LSU Auburn's the college game next week on CBS. Everywhere we go, everybody wants to know about their alma mater. There's an Auburn Tiger right there. Brent Fullwood, 3rd round pick out of Auburn. Fine running back for Pat Dye. That's next week. LSU, the Auburn Tigers, War Eagle. Play action for Walsh, and he's in trouble and goes down. The sack will go to Tim Harris. He now has 6.5 for the year. A Pro Bowler this year?
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's going to Hawaii this year. He's going to make the trip. He's working against Daryl Johnston on the play number 48 for the Packers. For the Cowboys. He's right at the top of your screen right here. That's Tim Harris rushing the passer inside. He's going to beat his man on the line of scrimmage. Nobody really blocks him. You see Johnston, number 48, trying to face up on him. He just can't do it. Harris gives him that little stall technique and then goes around and grabs Steve Walsh. This guy's headed for Hawaii, though, believe me.
3-year sack leader for the Pack.
Had 13 last season, I believe, 13.5 sacks.
He has 34.5 for his career. Loss of 9, 2nd and 19. Martin runs out of bounds on the 18-yard line, or correction, 24-yard line. Let's go to New York now. Here's Brent Musburger. Brent?
Well, Tim, the comeback underway for Chicago in the second half against Tampa Bay. Tomczak zips his touchdown pass to Sanders, and they have pulled to within a touchdown, 28-21, back to Tim.
Oh, the folks in this area want to keep an eye on that game. They've been watching the scoreboard, Dan, and they've posted those scores.
That's right. They've been cheering because the Bears have been behind. But it's interesting that Thomas Sanders is playing for the Bears. That heat must be getting to the Bears down there because usually Neil Anderson will be back there in the backfield making those kinds of receptions.
Green Bay 2-2 in the NFC Central. On 3rd and 12, Walsh with time, throws deep. Incomplete. Ken Stills was the defensive back.
Tim Harris is heating up the pass rush. He is heating up the pass rush on Steve Walsh. Here he is right here at the bottom of your screen. Watch him work that corner real hard. That forces Steve to unload the football before he's really comfortable to do it. Beats Kevin Gogan with a head slapper, the arm slap, arm over, and gets to the quarterback along with Robert Brown. Good pressure that time by the Packer defense.
Good defense by Ken Stills. Irvin had the ball and Stills ripped it loose. Saxon to punt. Inside his own 10. And Query is deep for the Packers. Here comes pressure. Saxon gets a high boomer this time that'll take Query all the way back to the 24-yard line. He get nudged there by Junior Tartalatasi, and the crowd wanted a flag, but it wasn't enough to draw one after a 53-yard punt. query says, hey, I called for fair catch.
Oh, yeah, but that's a little incidental contact. Come on, you're not going to get that one. The guy just barely touches him.
Let him know he was there.
Filtered, never heat pasteurized, Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth, real draft beer taste, the world is a very cool place. So tap into the cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Bo knows baseball. Bo knows football.
Bo knows basketball, too.
Bo knows tennis?
No.
Bo knows weights.
Bo, you don't know diddly.
It's 8:47. It's 22 degrees. And Andy Cavanna's father is learning all about his antifreeze.
Dad, where are you?
The hard way. Don't push your luck. Guarantee it with Advanced Formula Prestone.
You know what you're seeing
Tim
a lot
Brandt and Dan Jacobs, before you say anything, let me just tell you, this is padding to keep the big guy away from me. Now, tell him what it is.
You'll see a lot of the linemen wearing these knee stablers, and of course it's named the Anderson knee stabler. And George Anderson is the trainer for the Raiders who created this thing for Kenny Stabler, who's an analyst for CBS, by the way. But what it is it protects your knees on the outside, protects them from those tears when people pile into the side of your legs. And you'll see a lot of linemen down on the field wearing them today.
There's one right there, but why'd you put it on my arm?
You want me to lift your leg up here?
First down at the 25. Fullwood, right side. I think a moment ago I said he was a third-round pick, obviously a first-round pick out of Auburn. Brett Fullwood, tackle made by Randy Shannon. Remember doing those games down there, Auburn, when Fullwood was playing? For Pat Dye.
They get it cranked up down there pretty good, huh?
Boy, they sure do. Second down and 8 at the 26. Fullwood again breaks a tackle. Looks like he's dancing on the light bulb out to the 33-yard line. Ray Horton finally takes him down.
Ray Horton made him dance on the ceiling, though. After a while, he picked him up and pulled his feet up. Look at the comparison there between the running backs. Herschel Walker with 8 rushes, only 8 rushes for 33 yards. Brett Fullwood's had a busy day with 85 yards on 21 rushes. But the key there is Herschel Walker's finally gotten his average per rush up to 4.1 yards. I believe it was at 2.9 coming into this ball game.
Herschel had only 8 carries for 10 yards in that first game against New Orleans. That didn't sit well. He was rather vociferous about getting more involved in the offense. 4 wide receivers on 3rd down and 1. Here come the Cowboys. Sharp with a fantastic catch to the 46-yard line, right over top of Ray Horton.
Boy, I tell you, Don Mikowski, though, credit Don Mikowski with, again, reading the blitz and dumping the football off on the hot read. This guy's come a long way as a quarterback, sees the field very well, and we talked to him about that. Says he comes over and checks down on 3 different levels now. Watch him complete this one, 12 yards. It's a 5th catch for Sterling Sharp. Makes a nice grab up in the air.
A gain of 12. It'll be first down at the 45. Pretty impressive numbers.
Saw him take that downfield look just now.
Backs out pressure by Jeffcoat. Sharp can't hold on to it. Mikowski unloaded, did a great job getting it out to Sharp, but Sharp couldn't hold it. Boy, Jeffcoat was coming in a hurry. What a gorgeous day here in the Green Bay area. You see the foliage as we post up the scores for you on the CBS Sports Wire. But it's breezy.
Yeah, and the breeze is blowing right in here into the press box. And as I said in the first half, I can't believe you went out and put that sweater on.
I know it's not the Ice Bowl.
Gotta play cold.
But it's nippy. 1967. What was it for the Ice Bowl? 13 below.
Yeah, we're wind chill about 46 below.
Yeah.
59, something like that. Cold.
Makowski on 2nd down and 10. Whole lot of trouble, but he gets by Jones, makes the completion. Kemp has the first.
Eugene Lockhart knocked Perry Kemp about 5 yards up the field when he hit him. He hit him so hard.
A gain of 17.
Magic again gets some pressure this time from Too Tall Jones. Slips out of that pressure and finds himself rolling around on that right side. Watch him here now. Watch Too Tall come in with the pressure. Number 72 right there. See Magic pull a little Magic slip underneath Too Tall Jones. Fires the ball out to Perry Kemp. Now watch this hit here by Eugene Lockhart. See how that makes Perry stumble about 5 or 6 yards forward.
But a big play and a big gain. 1st down at the 37. Under a minute to play now, 3rd quarter. Again, there's pressure on Makowski. And he throws it away. It was intended for Aubrey Matthews. Matthews couldn't hold it. But Dean Hamill had the pressure on Makowski and made him throw quickly.
If you're looking at the Dallas defense now, you say, hey, why not? Let's bring the house. Why not? We're going to play man-to-man coverage down here. If we're going to get burned in those zones, let's bring some people and force this quarterback to, put some pressure on him now, see what he's made of a little bit. Certainly he's been effective with the pressure, but you can't stop just because he's been successful with it.
47 seconds remain in this period. It's 17-13 Green Bay. 2nd down and 10 at the 37 for the Packers. Makowski has a man open. Fontenot, touchdown. 37 yards. Came clear, made the catch, and Chris Jackie comes on for the extra point, and it's good. (24-13) Green Bay.
Okay, now what happened on the play though, Tim, is when Dallas first came up, they came up in a press situation. You see these defensive backs were all covered right down here. Now they moved off and moved back to these positions. Herman Fontenot takes off on the go route, and as a result, he just beats his man on the fly pattern. Now watch this play. He's at the top of your screen, comes around on the outside there. You see him at the top of the screen now, and he's just gone. But it looked like man-to-man. They thought they were going to get the blitz early. They just took off on the play. Fontenot came out of the backfield. Here's another angle of it. You see 27, Herman Fontenot. He's in the backfield, slides out to that sideline up in the top, and takes off. He's working against a linebacker, Randy Shannon, number 94. And Everson Walls has got some deep help on him, but he's just in the end zone before anybody can get back there.
Fontenot's first touchdown of the year. Trade with Cleveland. He got here to Green Bay. Second touchdown today. 40 seconds still remain, 3rd period. It's 24-13 Green Bay. Chris Jackie to kick off. James Dixon and Derek Shepard are deep for the Cowboys. This is Dixon. Falls down once, gets up and falls down again at the 18, and that's where Dallas will have it, 1st down.
And I mentioned how slippery that field was, and how short they had cut the grass. And once again, you see somebody slipping and falling on it. It's a nice dry day. It's been dry up here for the last couple of days, and Really no reason to be slipping other than the fact that grass is cut so short. Now, if you're the Dallas Cowboys here, you're still in the ball game. You can't panic and get away from your game plan, but, you know, you got 14 points in order to get ahead in this ball game. And so now you start working the clock a little bit, work your running game, stay with it a little bit, and your short passing game to get you downfield.
Johnston and Walker are the setbacks. It's Herschel Walker. He runs into big Tim Harris, and he goes nowhere.
I think if Dallas wants to run the football, though, they've got to run it between the tackles. They can't be running outside. I think they're an inside-the-tackle football team, particularly with Herschel Walker in the backfield. You start running out there where that guy is number 97, and you're not going to have a very successful day. Stay between the tackles. Let your big guys up front tee off on that defensive line and just remove them from the line of scrimmage.
Well, before they line up again, they'll have to go to the other end of the field. Because that's the end of the third quarter with the score, Green Bay 24, Dallas 13. We now pause for a word from your local station. This is CBS.
Hi, Cheryl Miller coming to you for Valley Banks with another financial tip. You can avoid many bank service charges by consolidating finances at one bank. Reorganizing your current accounts will often entitle you to numerous free or reduced price services. For help with becoming a smart money manager, see your Valley banker today.
Strong, helpful, friendly, that's the Valley Banks.
She doesn't know it, but something amazing is about to happen to Sally Johnson at her local Lube Pros. In just 10 minutes, Lube Pros will change the oil using quality Pennzoil. Change the filter, lube the chassis, check belt, PVC valve, air filter, steering shocks, exhaust wipers, tire pressure, top off all fluids, including transmission, power steering, battery, brake, differential, and washer fluid. Clean the windshield, vacuum the interior. You get world-class protection with Pennzoil products. And at Lube Pros, you get a lot more than just an oil change. Register to win one of 100 Dodge Dakota 4x4 pickups to be given away by Pennzoil during the 100th anniversary.
Hey, where's the food? How about tacos? Yeah, tacos. Yeah, tacos.
Taco Bell introduces tacos to go. Now get our original tacos in a 10-pack for $4.89 or a 6-pack for just $2.94. Packed and ready to go. Anywhere you've got a few hungry friends. Tacos to go. At this price, it won't take much to keep them quiet. Take a ride on the border.
Maureen Jaeger, you always know when it's Action 2 news.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for real draft taste, so tap into the cold. The U.S. Army, where you get an edge on life. Be all you can be. And by Chrysler, where we still believe there is no luxury without engineering. We start the final 15 minutes with the Cowboys trailing by 11. And the rookie, Steve Walsh, the quarterback. This is Herschel Walker with a brilliant cut inside and powers his way out to the 32-yard line.
Counter OT. You saw Kevin Gogan leading that play around the left side for the Cowboys. Nice block by him and a nice one by Crawford Kerr allowed Herschel Walker to spring on that play. You also saw, just before we came back, we saw Tim Harris, number 97 for the Packers, working the crowd a little bit. You know, he gets that crowd worked up when he gets down near the end zones. And Jerry Markbright turned around to him and said, cut it out.
Look at this, second half points for this season, 97-7. Herschel gained 13, longest run of the day for Walker. First down at the 32 Cowboys.
You see Harris running around, number 97. He told us he was going to do that, pick his spots and blitz off of that. Hit
almost immediately by Bob Nelson, and a flag flies quickly. Tim Harris lined up on the right side. Walsh audibleized, sent the play the opposite way, and there's a flag.
5-yard face mask foul, number 79, defense. It's still first down.
That's Bob Nelson, the nose tackle.
But you saw Tim Harris bouncing up and down along the line of scrimmage, trying to find that little spot where he wanted to rush in from. But he told us yesterday that's one of the things he's going to do. He's going to be able to, they're going to give him some flexibility to find the right spot on each play and just kind of pick it and go.
That's the fourth penalty for Green Bay. It'll be 1st and 5 at the 37. Correction. 34. Irvin has the completion. It'll be a first down for the Cowboys. This one out to the 44-yard line. And Ron Pitts will get credit for that tackle. Cowboys being patient, not leaving their game plan.
And that's what you really have to do in this situation. You can't panic and just start throwing the football all over the park unless you know how to do that very well. Stay with your game plan, use your running game, and effective passing game short, and you'll get down there.
Herschel Walker cuts inside, gets back to the line of scrimmage. That'll be all for Herschel. Sean Patterson with the tackle. Great pursuit by the entire defense from Green Bay.
And I tell you, Herschel Walker did great to get back to the line of scrimmage. He had him boxed up. They had him boxed up in the backfield. And watch when he takes off. Watch in this area here. This is where you want to try to establish the corner on a run play. And watch how Green Bay is able to string this out, go right down the line of scrimmage. You see Gogan there got pushed back in the backfield by Robert Brown. All of a sudden, Herschel's 5 yards in the backfield, and Packers are coming at him. He did a great job to get back to the line of scrimmage. No corner on that play.
It'll be second down and 10. James Dixon comes in as a wide receiver for the Cowboys. Martin in motion. Harris is coming. The completion to Walker, and Herschel takes it into Green Bay territory at the 49-yard line. The tackle made by Burnell Bucky Dent, but a lot of pressure backside by Tim Harris once again.
We talked about how he can pick his spots. We saw him earlier on the opposite side of the defensive line. This time he moves over to the defensive right side and rushes the passer.
Tim Brand along with Big Dan Jiggets. Lambeau Field, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's third down and 4 at the 49. The Packers lead the Cowboys 24-13. The quarterback for Dallas in his first NFL start is Steve Walsh right there. Here comes the pack. Walsh to Herschel Walker, incomplete. Herschel was guarded tightly by Tiger Green.
Guess where the pressure came from? Number 97, Tim Harris.
Harris doesn't want to leave the field.
He's having too much fun out there right now. And that's what those guys love to do, is rush the passer. And then you're going to be back to 10 yards. They just tee it up and go after you.
Ron Pitts will be deep for the Packers. Mike Saxon will punt for Dallas. There's Pitts. 4-year veteran out of UCLA. A wobbly kick. Pitts will fair catch it at the 15. A 34-yard punt, no return. And with 11:25 remaining now in the ball game, it's 24-13 Green Bay. Time running out for Dallas.
What good is an abundance of rich, soft leather in a luxury car if it doesn't have the stopping power of anti-lock brakes? What good is more legroom than the biggest Cadillac if your car doesn't have Ultra Drive, the world's most advanced transmission? And how satisfying is elegant styling without Crystal Key, a better warranty than Rolls or Mercedes? The all-new Chrysler Fifth Avenue. There is no luxury without engineering.
Attention football fans. Get a free NFL warm-up jacket when you buy 10 rolls of pink insulation R19 or higher from, you know who. But hurry, offer ends October 15th.
We used to have a chair, and my father used to come up from work every night, and he used to sit in this one chair, and all the change from his pockets would empty out into the chair. We would all go flying to that chair, and we'd take all the change and say, I did it for years.
How many people ever broke their neck falling backwards in a
How many
chair,
fathers
honestly?
broke
their kids' necks leaning back?
If you fall out of a tree and break your neck, I'm going to kill you. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Levi's 100% cotton Dockers. If you're not wearing Dockers, you're just wearing pants.
In or out, in or out. That was a big one. My mother used to say that all the time. You're going to stay in, you're going to come out. Because she was going to let the air conditioning in. Yeah.
This NFL game summary is sponsored by Levi's 100% Cotton Dockers. If you're not wearing Dockers, you're just wearing pants.
Green Bay has dominated time of possession, and that will be a key now as we head into the final 11 minutes and 25 seconds, because the Packers want to eat up the rest of the clock, and the Cowboy defense has to get the ball back, trailing 24-13.
Well, the Cowboys talk about being aggressive on defense, and one of the ways to be aggressive on defense and mean it is to block some passes, strip the ball away from the ball carriers, and recover the fumbles. That's how you get your offense back on the field quicker, and maybe you can run one of them in for a score.
Green Bay has been known to turn the ball over this season. We've already seen Eugene Lockhart pick up one fumble and run it in for a touchdown. First down, Packers at the 15. Brent Fullwood. Nice cut inside to the 24-yard line.
We talked to Lindy Infante. We keep bringing this up about Brent Fullwood and how much he's come along, but he said one of the things that's really made him a difference for him this year is the fact that they can leave him in on running situations, on passing situations when you want to go to the passing game to the backside of the backfield, as well as when you're 3rd and 20. You can rely on the guy to make the right decisions, be in the right places, and go get the football.
That's 94 yards now for the 3-year veteran out of Auburn. How about this?
Green Bay has 450 yards of total offense already, and we've still got 11 minutes left in the ball game.
They average 425 a game. Straight up the middle they go. Jeffcoat hits Fullwood, and they'll run him back, but they'll mark his forward progress.
Yeah, I like Jim Jeffcoat. See, defensive line, he's got the towel hanging down there and everything. They look fast. Defensive ends have to look fast, and Jim Jeffcoat looks fast. When you come out as an offensive tackler, you see the guy, see those arms, he got those long arms, kind of bent over a little bit, He's scary as a defensive end. He looks like a guy that can sack your quarterback.
Looks like he has one of those Anderson stablers on his elbow there. It's not. I'm being facetious. First down. Green Bay has 23 first downs. Dallas has 9. The ball marked at the 28. Mikowski with time. Incomplete, intended for Kemp. But it was blocked by Lockhart, who got a hand on it up at the 45.
And he was just maybe 6 or 7 inches away from intercepting that football. Sat down in his zone and just barely missed the ball when he jumped up in the air. You can see him shaking his head here. He's right in the middle of your screen, number 56, Eugene Lockhart. Watch him and watch the face of Don Mikowski. Watch his head rotate around as he reads the defense. You see Lockhart dropping back in his zone, leaps for the ball right here and just barely misses the football, and Perry Kemp can't stop to pick it up.
Kemp had found his way into the seam. If he didn't get a hand on it, he was open. It'll be second down at 10 now for Mikowski. Out of the shotgun. Has the completion to Sharp. It won't be enough for a first down, I don't think, depending on where they mark it, but it will be awfully close. Lockhart with the tackle. We'll check the mark.
Sterling Sharp here working up on the top of your screen, number 84. I see the cornerback's coming up trying to get a press on him. He gets a hand shot on him right there, but then he drops back into the zone. That's Vince Albritton, and he leaves him for the linebackers to pick up. Now, if you're going to come up and give a shot on the guy and stay in the press, chances are you want to stay with that receiver, not go to a zone. Why don't you just stay man-to-man, right?
You're right. Sharp averages 16 yards per catch. It'll be third down and 1. First down, Green Bay. Fullwood went up in that hole with authority and went head-on into Randy Shannon.
I tell you what, and they ran right over Mandrich here. Now watch number 77. Watch his blocker. They just bring down that whole defensive line of the Cowboys. Look at Tony Mandrich. Of course, it was a two-man block on Ed Too Tall Jones, but they really got a nice hole in there and really creamed those guys along that defensive line.
Mandrich spends over $200 a week on groceries.
That's outrageous. Good thing he's making as much money as he is.
And that doesn't count going out to the restaurants. First down at the 40. Haddix cuts inside, breaks 2 tackles, and bulls his way to the 48-yard line.
Good game planning here by Lindy Infante. Now you just take the ball and Keep that time of possession up. Just keep running the football. Stay in the middle of the field. Don't take any chances. Tell your running backs to cover it up when they hit the line of scrimmage, and just wear that clock down. 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Dallas has got to try to strip the ball, make something happen here. You know, the Minnesota Vikings for years were a team that, you know, made you commit turnovers by stripping the ball away, grabbing it. Every time you run with the football, you catch it. They're swatting at the football, and that's what the Cowboys have to learn to do, is get aggressive in that area.
2nd down and 2. Addicks bounces outside across midfield. 1st down into Dallas territory. Right now, let's take you back to New York. Here's Brent Musburger. Brent.
All right, Tim, just when the Chicago Bears had closed to within 7 points, the biggest play of the afternoon for the Buccaneers. Tate on the pitch, gets through a hole on a 16-yard run, and it is 35-21 in the 4th quarter. Buccaneers back to 10.
All right, Brent, it looks like Green Bay will gain some territory here if things remain status quo. The Packers 178 yards rushing, Dallas only 45. We've got 7:24 remaining in the ball game. 11-point Green Bay lead. This is Haddix. This time he loses a couple. Ray Horton filled quickly for the Cowboys on the corner.
You know, earlier this week, I was at a press conference where Mike Ditka was there, and he was talking about how the Central Division is tightening up all around. You know, Minnesota's always been up there with the Bears for the last 6-7 years. Green Bay, he mentions, as a team is really coming along a great deal, and Tampa Bay says is earning a lot of respect, and I think it's earning even more respect from him today as they're losing to the Buccaneers down in Tampa Bay.
And the crowd likes it. It was just announced to the crowd here at Lambeau Field. Standing room only. In this old stadium. 6:34 remain now. McCaskey on 2nd down and long goes up top. Incomplete. It was intended for Sharp.
Ron Francis had good coverage downfield for the Cowboys, though. Sterling Sharp ended up playing defensive back on that play, reaching in and slapping it away from Ron Francis, who had the interception set up. Here's another look at it. You see Francis is on the inside. He's got the inside technique. He will not allow Sterling Sharp to get back to the ball. Reaches up, and it's just tipped right there by Sterling Sharp. Good defensive play by Sharp.
Really was. That's an interesting way to put it, but that's exactly right. He prevented the interception.
3rd and 12.
Coming up, our NFL doubleheader action continues. San Francisco at New Orleans. Coming up next here on CBS. 6 defensive backs now for Dallas. 3rd and 12. Incomplete. It was intended for Aubrey Matthews. Matthews has had a knee problem. Orlando Infante said he would be a starter here. 4-year veteran out of Delta State. Couldn't hang on there. And Green Bay will have to give it up.
Aubrey Matthews was a fairly successful receiver with the Atlanta Falcons before coming up here.
So Bracken comes on to punt. Derek Shepard will be standing at the 10. Shepard is dangerous. High knuckleball. Shepard at the 7. Spins out to the 13-yard line. So a 43-yard punt, 6-yard return, and the tackle was made by Brian Noble, the linebacker. We've got 6 minutes and 12 seconds remaining.
Pure, genuine, never heat pasteurized. A beer that's made unlike any other. Cold filtered to give you the rich, smooth taste of real draft beer. That's the mark of a great beer. So tap into the cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
America's way to go. You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You've come so far, and we know how to make the most of who you are. Where the race is run, you're the champion. Gillette,
The Gillette Atra Plus system and Gillette Foamy Shave Cream, together the best a man can get.
They call the man Montana. Mighty Joe turbocharges the Niners against the Saints. A Superdome shootout today.
You know, the last time these two teams played up here was during the Ice Bowl, and right here, this is the area where the famous touchdown was scored in the Ice Bowl, with Green Bay taking it in over Jethro Pugh, and I think every fan of football in the National Football League remembers that play. It was right there. Sorry, Max McGee earlier down the field talking with Dick Nolan about that same spot. They were trying to find it.
I was a senior in high school. You were a sophomore.
No, I was a freshman.
First down for Walsh. He's in trouble, and he's sacked by Harris. His third.
Tim Harris having another big day from his outside linebacking position. And if this guy right here works downfield, if he doesn't make the Pro Bowl, then there's no justice. Now look at that inside move, gets away from Gogan there and makes the sack.
A loss of 7. Second and 17, the ball's incomplete. Knocked down by Brian Noble.
You know, when you see an outside linebacker, defensive end take an inside rush like that, many times on the offensive line, you're either manning the stunt or you're airing the stunt. That time it appeared that the Cowboys were manning the stunt because Gogan never got any help from inside. So you have to believe that they're manning the stunt. But we'll watch now to see what they do when they run those twists. That's when a defensive end and linebacker twist each other on the line of scrimmage. That was a twist, by the way, when you see those guys cross after they penetrate about 2 or 3 yards.
Third and 17. Walsh in his own end zone. Incomplete, intended for Herschel Walker.
Once again, it was a twist on the defensive line that got the pressure on Walsh and made him unload the football. Watch here again. Watch these two guys cross in here, and you can see this pressure right in here from Robert Brown is what causes Steve Walsh to unload the football. Watch the twist up inside. Here he comes right now on the left side of your screen. You see Brown rushing the passer, and he gets right in the passer's face. He's got to dump the football off.
Saxon to punt. Way back in his end zone. Pressure comes from Harris. Saxon gets it off. This is Query. And Green Bay will have excellent field position at the 30-yard line. After a 36-yard punt, a 12-yard return. The tackle was made by Ron Burton, but the pressure was that man, Tim Harris. He almost had a block.
You know, he'd love to add that to his repertoire. But when we talked to him about making the Pro Bowl, it's obvious that it hurt him a little bit. Feels that maybe playing up here, you know, not getting the notoriety that a lot of guys do at that position. And of course, you look at the outside linebackers in the league, you know, Lawrence Taylor and those guys are pretty effective. But there's no question, I think this guy should have been in Hawaii. Sure hope he's there. And I know the most important thing to Tim Harris now, though, is to have his team be successful.
Walsh has been sacked 3 times, 2 of those by Harris. You gave him half of the first one. Brent Fullwood with an impressive run, spinning, driving, turning out of bounds by Ron Francis, but Fullwood was impressive, picking up 7.
Brent Fullwood up off the top of your screen. Now watch him take off on that outside corner. Good blocking up front, though. That's the key. Ken Ruckers pushes his man. That's Jim Jeffcoat out of the way, creates that crease, and Brent Fullwood with some nice, strong running after he gets over the line of scrimmage.
Fullwood now 109 yards on 25 carries. The clock at 5 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in the ball game. Fullwood carries tacklers to the 15.
I love it when a running game works that well. When you got a running back running that hard up in the middle of that offensive line, it just looks great. That's what offensive football is all about, lining it up. This is what the Cowboys would love to be able to do with Herschel Walker. Just get that running back up in the middle of that offensive line, remove the defense from the line of scrimmage, and just keep pushing the pile towards the end zone and burning up that clock.
That clock is burning, too. Under 5 minutes.
Herschel's looking at that block and that Brent Fullwood's getting and going, hey, man, I could really use a little bit of that. But, you know, with all the things going on in his life right now with the trade rumors and all the rest of that, you got to wonder how settled can a guy be coming into a ball game.
Again, if you're just joining us, the feeling is that Herschel will be traded maybe as early as this week in Dallas when the NFL owners meet. He turned down 2 offers this past week. Negotiations will start at $2 million per year.
An interesting thing that Herschel said was, you know, above and beyond all the rest of this stuff with all the money and all of that, the thing that he's trying to do in his life is he wants his professionals to handle the contract negotiations and trades and such, but he wants to keep football fun for himself. And the way to do that, he feels, is to remove himself from all of that and just play football. But it's hard to do that when somebody's talking about your future.
He said he can afford to do that. He doesn't care. He doesn't need football financially. But it does play on your mind, nonetheless. He's a good businessman and a good person. 2nd down and 11. Green Bay. Play action from Mikowski. Has a man wide open. Didier to the 5-yard line. A pickup of 11.
Tim, early in the first half of this ball game, we talked about Don Mikowski carrying out fakes on play action, hiding the ball on his hip. You see how important that is? Because the defense can't see the football. All of a sudden, he turns back around. Clint Didier's wide open on the other side of the field. The reason why good play action, the defense doesn't buy Didier going out there and saying he's not going to get a pass reception out there. It's because of Mikowski and the techniques of what he does, hiding that football, and everybody in the offense faking that play action very nicely up front.
It's 1st down and goal, Green Bay. And Mikowski wants timeout. He's having a big day. And he leads 24-13 with 3 minutes and 50 seconds remaining.
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. Hall of Famer Y.A. Tittle was one of the finest passers of his day. Wide receiver R.C. Owens, one of the game's great natural athletes. Together, they saved many a game with a prayer of a pass and a honey of a catch. Although opponents knew it was coming, the arm of Tittle and the leaping ability of Owens made the play work. As teammates, their individual talents created the alley-oop pass and made Tittle and Owens the best they can be.
Most of my friends don't know what they're going to do after graduation, but I've already locked in guaranteed skill training in the Army. Qualify now and you can reserve even the Army's most sought-after technical training up to 12 months in advance through the Army's delayed entry program. Sure, being a soldier won't be easy, but then nothing worth having ever is.
Murder aboard the Queen Mary made all the passengers wary. A cruise costing plenty of cash stopped being fun with a splash, as Jessica recalls wistfully.
An enigma shrouded in mystery.
Murder, she wrote. Then, the Mystic Pizza Guarantee. You'll laugh.
Mr. Loaf snapped his teeth again.
You'll find romance.
Oh, he is cute. He acts like white bread.
You'll feel good all over. For an absolutely guaranteed good time, watch the network television premiere, Mystic Pizza, tonight.
Strong arms and salutations in that one. Tommy Hodson against Reggie Slack, 2 strong-arm quarterbacks. LSU against Auburn. That's next week, college football, as it continues here on CBS.
I know there's 2 Green Bay Packers that will be concerned about that game. Ed West, tight end, is from Auburn, as well as Brent Fullwood, the running back. They'll be checking that one out on Saturday.
Here it's 24-13 Green Bay. 3:50 remaining in the ball game, and it's a big win if they can hold on for the Packers, because Chicago is losing to Tampa Bay. Inside to the 1. Tony Tolbert makes the stop at the 1.
Watch the feet of the defensive lineman for Dallas. Watch and see if they are removed from the line of scrimmage here. Now, see, that Packer offensive line is just rolling over top of him, reestablishing the line of scrimmage and giving Brent Fullwood an opportunity to push it on up towards the end zone.
Here's that Chicago score. Green Bay can pull within a game of the Bears. But I'll tell you this, Testaverde hurt his knee in that game. We don't know how seriously for Tampa Bay. Second down from the 1. Mikowski loses yardage to the 4. Eugene Lockhart, number 56, got help from Vince Albritton.
You see number 56, that's Eugene Lockhart right there in the middle of your screen. Now watch him play off of here, play off a couple of blocks, eyeball the receiver, the running back, just go in there and make the tackle on Mikowski.
That's the play Magic ran earlier in the game.
That's right.
Exactly the same, and he dropped the football.
Eugene Lockhart is on it like a cheap suit.
How cheap?
About as cheap as that jersey looks the way he cut it up.
It's 3rd and goal from the 4, and there's timeout. It's one of the shorter timeouts. 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
Mikowski, 19 of 30, 300 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Well, you know, when you look at his second half numbers all the way through this part of the regular season, they've been fabulous. Finally, they did what they had to, what they've been talking about doing for a long time, getting things rolling in the first half of the football game.
He told us yesterday that this time last year, it was all he could do just to look over and get the signals from the sidelines, remember the terminology, and make the call in the huddle. He said once that was done, then he had to come up to the line of scrimmage and start reading. He said by that point he was wasted.
And when he had to start reading, he realized he was illiterate. But now this year, he's really doing a great job. I mentioned before about the way he looks over the line, looks over the defense, and kind of reads through the different levels of what the linebackers are doing. He said his key read, though, is he tries to see through the linebackers to the defensive backs, and that's the way he makes his reads for passing.
He looks awfully comfortable.
He sure does.
Not only with the terminology, but with the game plan. 3rd and goal from the 4. Mikowski to Kemp. Touchdown Packers.
I think that was a little weak by Perry Kemp.
Not the touchdown. You're talking about the dance.
The dance. Real weak.
That's his 6th catch of the day. And a 4-yard touchdown for Kemp.
Yeah, Perry, you're going to have to work on the end zone celebration a little bit, dude.
Icky, he's not. And Chris Jackie's extra point is good. 31-13 with 2:33 remaining.
42, the Bears, 21.
Now Perry Kemp is coming right at you in motion now. Mikowski just unloads and realizes he's got a blitz situation. Kemp just bows his head and goes on in the end zone now. But see, this is the bad part. Now watch the knee action here on Perry Kemp. That's the thing that I really don't like. I don't think he had the knees up high enough. So that's kind of ugly there. I don't know. I can't live with that.
Looks pretty good to me.
The touchdown did. Once again, Kemp, number 81, is going to be coming in motion. Boy, that's a nice pass by Mikowski. See how he let him out there just enough, kept some cushion on the sideline. And here's another angle on that dance. That looks like a little two-step there, doesn't it? You just leave me hanging on this one.
Absolutely. 2:33 remaining. It's 31-13 Packers. Chris Jackie to kick off. It'll be Dixon at the 1. He broke off an 89-yarder to start the game, and he carries this one out to the 33, so it's a 33-yard return. Well, it looks as if the Pack will go to 3-2. And the Dallas Cowboys will go 0-5. We mentioned it was the worst start since 1963. That team ended up 4-10 on the year for Dallas, but they won their 5th game. So this will be the worst start since before that. Walsh. Incomplete. He was a defense contractor who cheated on the testing of a vital piece of military hardware. Where did they find him? In jail. 60 Minutes tonight on CBS, followed by Murder, She Wrote and the CBS Sunday movie Mystic Pizza.
That sounds like that Mystic Pizza we had last night.
Watching the ball game.
It's still kind of mystic.
Well, he's in a rebuilding program. He knows it, and he said it'll take time. He knows the weaknesses, and he's trying to correct them. Jimmy Johnson. Walsh to Walker. And Herschel's out to the 45.
You know, Tim, to get back to what you said about Jimmy Johnson, I think the people probably in the Dallas area were probably thrown off a little bit by the fact that the Cowboys were successful during the preseason. They started expecting a lot of good things out of them early in the regular season, but it can be deceptive sometimes. If you're playing in the preseason, you're trying to accomplish certain things. Other teams are taking a look at their players. They're looking at the guys who they may not keep. So as a result, you know, you're a little bit more successful. It looks like Kevin Gogan has got dinged up a little bit down in the field. But that kind of fools you a little bit. And so what you have to do now is you come into the regular season, you got to realize it's going to be a tough road to hoe for a little while. And just kind of settle in and stay in there for the long pull. Here's Kevin Gogan. He's number 66. Watch up here right at the top of your screen. We're going to see what happened to him on the play. He's working against Tim Harris. Tim gives him an inside move. Now he comes back, and boy, he just runs into Steve Walsh, and Mike Weddington was rushing the passer from the other side. Looked like he just got that arm stuck in there and got it jammed a little bit.
Dallas did take a timeout, so the Cowboys have 2 remaining. Green Bay has just 1.
Kevin was doing a pretty good job against Tim Harris for, I'd say, about 60–70% of the game. Of course, every great rusher is going to get a couple of sacks on you.
Walsh to Kelvin Martin. Martin loses a couple trying to gain some ground, giving ground to gain ground, and they'll mark it right at midfield. And that'll be the 2-minute warning. 31-13, Packers.
What good is an abundance of rich, soft leather in a luxury car if you don't have the stopping power of anti-lock brakes? The all-new Chrysler Fifth Avenue. There is no luxury without engineering.
Miller Genuine Draft.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Cold filtered, never heat pasteurized. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Glad to be in America, back in the good old USA. I've been missing my baby, the sweet green earth, and a pure simple meal made America's way.
A lean quarter-pounder hot off the grill with crispy golden fries.
America's meat and potatoes.
I'm home.
That's McDonald's.
What good is more legroom than the biggest Cadillac if you don't have UltraDrive, the world's most advanced transmission? The all-new Chrysler Fifth Avenue. There is no luxury without engineering.
This will truly be an interesting week in the National Football League. The owners will convene and meet in Dallas, Texas, beginning Tuesday. We presume it'll be a 3-day meeting. They will talk about a new commissioner. Jim Finks still appears to be the leader. They will talk about trades when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys need players. Walsh now has to play with Aikman hurt. The guy who can really bring in players would be a trade with Herschel Walker. And it is assumed that will happen. 2nd down and 5 for Walsh. Has the completion. To the 34-yard line goes James Dixon.
You know, Tim, when we were talking with Ed Too Tall Jones and asking him for some perspective on how this team is reacting to, the difficulties that they've faced early in the season, he said, these kids come from good programs, college programs where they've never really lost. And I think that they still have a lot of fiber left, and as a result, they're not willing to accept losing. They always feel that they can do something else to make it happen for them.
Down to the 15-yard line goes Michael Irvin. 1:28 remaining. Dave Brown made the tackle, and Dallas takes a timeout with 1:28 left.
And certainly when you have a conversation with that young man, Michael Irving, and you start talking to him about what this club has to do to be successful and how you just have to keep your head up and keep after it, he's a guy that can really lead you to it.
Well, we don't know what the future holds for Herschel Walker, where he will be. But today he had 12 carries, 44 yards, 4 catches, 45 yards. You think it'll be his last game in Dallas?
I think it very well could be. I think that they make a trade, though, like Jerry Jones was saying earlier when we started this broadcast. You make that kind of trade with a guy like him, you've got to not only get draft choices, but also players that are going to make an instant impact on your club. That is starters, guys that you can rely on defensively.
Well, he refused 2 deals this past week as they were presented. We don't want to say those teams are out of it, but as they were presented at the time, Herschel Walker did not take those offers.
If I were a betting man, I'd say that he may very well end up with the New York Giants, but back with his old blocking back Maurice Carthon. He still has a home in the New Jersey area. I think that's the place he really wants to be.
He called Maurice, asked for some information, made some contacts. Walsh goes for it all. This is Walker, intercepted. Tiger Green made the interception.
Interception by Tiger Green.
Van Jakes, number 24, is going to come in on the blitz. You'll see him rushing the passer right there. He comes into the frame. Steve Walsh unloads it, and I tell you, Tiger Green has perfect position on the play against Herschel Walker. He looks like the receiver on the play. Read it all the way, knew where Herschel was going on the post route, just stayed with him.
1 minute, 23 seconds remain. And Mikowski and the Packers can melt that clock now. Dallas won't get it back. Walsh's numbers today, 18 for 28, several drop passes, 189 yards, and 1 touchdown.
You're a Dallas Cowboy fan. Don't be discouraged, but I tell you, it's going to take a little while, but this team's going to come together. Got some good players down there, some good athletes, and you just got to stick with it a little while. It's no magic formula. I don't care who you bring in there as a head coach or whatever. It's going to take some time to develop.
Mikowski takes his time before the next kneel-down play. The Green Bay Packers, 5 points shy of being unbeaten, will pick up their 3rd win here today. The coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS is Charles H. Milton III, and they're going to give this to Lindy Infante, and it's cold for that. The producer of today's telecast, Bob Deacus, directed by John McDonough. And the executive producer of CBS Sports is Ted Shaker. The winner today, that man, Lindy Infante.
And the best part was he never saw the water coming.
I tell you this, he'll get into the hot shower quickly.
Now watch this replay here. Now see, this is the key right here where you dump it on the coach's head right there. You better make sure he's a happy man when he goes into the locker room. Tim Harris and Sean Patterson enjoying themselves after a great victory for the Packers.
For Dan Jiggetts, I'm Tim Brandt. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. 31-13 the final.
One airline works harder than any other to make sure that a good landing not only means getting you there on time, but landing your bag in your hand on time as well. United. Come fly the friendly skies.
Bill, you know, I don't know what I like better. Having to come from behind in the second half, or today, halftime, we're leading, what, 17-13. I'm going, I don't like this. I don't like this.
It was a strange feeling, wasn't it? What was this all about?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Everyone in the press box was going, I don't know what's going on here. Can they pull it out? We'll find out, right? For the first time this season, the Packers actually had knuckles that were flesh-torn in the 4th quarter, not white as in previous 4 contests, right? Packers topped Dallas this afternoon 31-13 to win their 2nd game of the year already. at Lambeau Field. There were a lot of big plays in the game for the Pack. The longest and the best, this 79-yard scoring pass from Don Mikowski to Sterling Sharp. Sharp cut it back and stiff-armed the defensive back to get in. The Packers never looked back from that point. 31-13 the final. Sterling with 6 catches, 132 yards. We'll have much, much more coming up in just a couple of minutes on Packers Sunday. Jared, tickets so hard to come by, believe it or not. 56,900 some tickets sold. Only 457 no-shows out of 56,000 plus.
When's the last time we've seen that?